just won't leave you be. Supernatural, shy, what's all the fuss? But bags of bones seem so unsafe, it's semi-serious. Spooky, scary skeletons are silly all the same. They'll smile and scrabble slowly by and drive you so insane. Sticks and stones will break your bones, they seldom let you snooze. Spooky, scary skeletons will wake you with a buzz. takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is Thriller, Thriller night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's Thriller, Thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Yeah. Ooh. You hear the door slam and realize there's nowhere left to run. You feel the cold hand and wonder if you'll ever see the sun. You close your eyes and hope that this is just imagination, girl. But all the while, you hear a creature creeping up behind. You're out of time, 'cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. There ain't no second chance against the thing with the 40 eyes, girl. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Night creatures crawling, the dead start to walk in their masquerade. There's no escaping the jaws of the alien this time. This is the end of your life. They're out to get you. There's demons closing in on every side. Yeah, they will possess you unless you change that number on your dial. Now is the time for you and I to cuddle close together. Yeah, all through the night, I'll save you from the terror on the screen. I'll make you see that this is Thriller, Thriller night. Girl, I can thrill you more than any ghoul could ever dare try. So let me hold you tight and share a killer thriller, thriller, thriller each night. 'Cause this is Thriller, Thriller night. Girl, I can feel you more than any ghoul could ever dare try. So let me hold you tight and share a killer thriller. I'm gonna feel you tonight.
Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl with surging blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell.
I'm gonna feel you tonight. Thriller, thriller, thriller. Oh yeah, thriller, yeah, thriller. Oh no, thriller, thriller, yeah, thriller. skies. Ride with the moon in the dead of a night. Everybody scream, everybody scream. In our town of Halloween. I am the clown with the tearaway face. Here in a flash and gone without a trace. I am the who when you call who's there. I am the wind blowing through your hair. I am the shadow on the moon at night, filling your dreams to the brim with fright. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Halloween, 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 Halloween. Tender lump links everywhere. Life's no fun without a good scare. That's our job, but we're not mean. In our town of Halloween. In this town, don't we love it now? Everyone is waiting for the next surprise. Skeleton Jack might catch you in the back air. Rock your bitch and make you jump right out your skin. This is Halloween. Please make way for a very special guy. Our man Jack is king of the pumpkin bag. Everyone hail to the pumpkin king now. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Halloween, 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 Halloween. In this town we call home. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song. La, 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 la,
They're creepy and they're cranky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together lucky, the Addams Family. Their houses are museum, where people come to see them. They really are a scream, the Addams Family.
Neat, sweet, petite.
So get a wish and show one, a broomstick you can roll on. We're gonna play a call on the Addams Family.
Under the arc of weather-stained boards, ancient goblins and warlords come out the ground, not making a sound. The smell of death is all around. And in the night when the cold wind blows, no one cares, nobody knows. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Follow Victor to the sacred place. This ain't a dream, I can't escape. Molars and fangs, the clicking of bones. Spirits moaning among the tombstones. In the night when the moon is bright, someone cries, something ain't right. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Oh no. The moon is full, the air is still. All of a sudden, I feel a chill. Victor is grinning, flesh is rotting away. Skeletons dance, I curse this day. And in the night when the wolves cry out, listen close and you can hear me shout. I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life
saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for a place called Lee Hong Fook's. Gonna eat a big bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome. We're back to NeuroStrike. Last time me and Milo were here, it was for the grand finals of Season 1, but now we're bringing you Season 2 playoffs where we have the quarterfinals. F5 versus ZEN Esports. Milo, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, and we're looking to have a tasty game in Vancouver. Being obviously the Goliath in this situation, but in the story, they defeat Goliath, and ZEN Esports take down their Goliath.
F5 as well. In Element now, it's a crazy, crazy achievement. The underdogs, I remember so long ago, we saw them in NeuroStrike T4 when they were just upcoming, and they definitely left a lasting impression on us then. But now they have something else to prove, and it's in NeuroStrike. So, it will be a BO3 because we are in the quarterfinals. No infinite overtime, and they will have 3 maps, 3 venues to prove what they can do to us. Now, with 2 picks, you are going to have both F5 and ZEN Esports. One will be picking Nighthaven, will be ZEN. F5 will be picking Chalet, and Conflict will be the decider if needed. Now, Milo, I know we see a lot on said maps, but having ZEN have their first pick, how do you think they're going to come out the gate?
We saw actually F5 win this map against, I'm pretty sure it was another team that later on qualified for Element, being obviously that Console Sky's team. They won it quite convincingly, and I thought they looked very good on it. So I'm actually questioning the map selection. Maybe they just haven't done their homework. So I could actually see this go along in a two-way fashion, just because I also think F5 are a good Chalet team. So I don't know if ZEN's made the good choice here on picking Lightning.
I agree, and I feel like with the way they host and with the way that F5 plays together, we see them kind of put the foot on the gas when it doesn't work. So we'll say, for instance, last time I saw them play in their qualifiers for Element, they were on Nighthaven. They did a little bit of an interesting play. They were on the basement site on defense, and they were trying to hold vertical. Now, when everything crumbled in the lounge and storage area, they resorted to just swinging everything like headless chickens and getting picked off one by one. That's not going to work today. Alongside with ZEN, I'm a little bit newer to their team and how they play, but I feel like they're not a team that allows easy swinging and allows this to continue to go on with stupid mistakes.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think ZEN, personally, I would have picked Clubhouse out of the remaining maps that were available for ZEN to pick. Just because when you're going up a team that is as cultured, as structured as F5 are, where you can see that they've been a team for a while, they've had their coach for a while, they've been able to master down what they're good at playing. I think you want to go to a map that everyone knows, that's basically dumbed down to the basics. Clubhouse, you play it like it's ranked, and then you get down where in the end it comes down to who can frag out more, who can win your gunfights, who can win the ones. I think that's really what ZEN should have been looking at coming into this game.
It's great you actually mentioned the coaches part of this. I think this is the first time in Tier 2 or lower. We see it sometimes, but very, very rarely in Tier 3 and almost never in Tier 4 leagues where both teams have a coach. Even in T4, finding one team to have a coach is absolutely crazy and insanely rare. So both teams can make the most of using their timeouts, because the biggest thing about timeouts in esports is, yes, you get to use them, but once you get into the amateur side of things, when you call it, what's going to happen? You don't have anybody to speak up. Your IGL can speak to you guys, but there's nobody who's seeing this from a bird's eye view. There's nobody seeing this from an objective perspective, and that's not in the game. So I feel like both teams having a coach is definitely going to prove to be amazing for this.
Yeah, I have to agree, but game is looking like it's going to be underway very soon, and very excited to get this started, and Nighthaven will be our first map to be looking forward to. So much going to happen, but I'm going to say predictions on the board. I'm going F5. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say.
I don't think it's a crazy thing to say either. I feel like with the way they've been playing recently, they are going on a crazy, crazy run. But, I mean, I don't know. I do like a good underdog story, especially with F5. I mean, they were the underdogs at once, and now ZEN, they have the opportunity to prove themselves. But in a BO3 and allowing F5 to build up the momentum, I've seen them on Nighthaven once they learn how to play it as a team. They are unstoppable. It is genuinely amazing to see, and that's why I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see Layer on the map pool today, because it shows you that curveball of esports. Nighthaven has a very traditional way to be played alongside with Consulate and sometimes Chalet as well. Once you play on Layer, literally anything can happen. I remember it was Don Betos against Space Tubes MX, and then X-Core, where Don Betos in the seasonal series just won. And it was going crazy for everybody on the desk, everybody casting, because of how they were playing. I mean, a team that you rarely hear of, a team that's been thrown around with rosters, coaches, and organizations, coming back to beat Space Tubes MX, which now is former, and the X-Core team, which is also former. So, again, lots of games, lots of things to be proven here, but right now, there's only one map where the venue will be hosted, and that's going to be Nighthaven.
Yeah, I think Nighthaven is also just a really good map. I think it's just a solid map. I think it's become, I think when it first came in, it was similar to Lair, where a lot of teams were hesitant to play it at first. But I think it's instantly, over time, it's just become a map where everyone likes playing it, everyone knows how to play it, and everyone plays it to a decent standard. Right now, first two bans on the board, Maverick and Cade. Not surprising to see the Maverick banned out. I think it's a really easy way to get those breaches open quickly and efficiently, and then the Cade as well. Just so then, I'm going to guess maybe ZEN already knew the Maverick ban was probably going to come out, so just to get those walls open quickly and easier, they now have both the electricity gone, bring one simple pocket EMP, get that thermite, exo charge on the wall, and done. Get that wall open as quick as you can.
There's no way we get another rehost in the second time in like 5 minutes, right? No way. I say that. I say no way, but it'll happen again. I mean, we've already lost a man. ZEN, come on, guys. But
time torturing.
I swear to God, they really want us to start late. I mean, 5 minutes into the lobby, another 5 minutes here, another 5 minutes there. We're going to find ourselves at 12 a.m. EST while we finish this show. Milo, I heard it was like, what, 1 a.m. for you right now?
No, midnight. 24 past midnight. It'll probably be like past 1 a.m. by the time this finishes.
24 past midnight. God. I don't know. It's always the youths who say time so funny to me. 24 past midnight. You couldn't have just said 12:24.
The youth. You said the youth. I'm older than you.
I said EU.
Oh, if we said the youth. Is that the youth? I was like, that doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I'm the youngest one. What do you mean? Yeah. It's always so funny to me. 24 past midnight. You couldn't have just said 12:24. No? But,
No.
I digress. We finally get all 10 in the game, ready to get the first round underway. We will be occupying the second floor for the first round. Now, not having Mirror Band may pose to be a problem because you can hold site. With a zombie, you can hold garage, you can hold rafters, and you can ensure that nobody sneaks up on your wall denials. But, as you guys could probably tell, there is no wall denials on the board, so this might be a little bit of an interesting round, considering both teams are going to have to think outside the box to either get the breach open or find their kills without falling too easily.
Definitely, but I also do like the fact that F5 have realized, hey, they don't have any time denial of having those breaches guys by having the wall denial, so they're bringing the tuber out, they're bringing the mute, so they've still got to bring it up with those EMPs to respect that the mute is still on the board, and then they also have to wait a little bit longer for those breaches to be opened up because of the tuber on board. They're also going to play a little bit of an extension probably onto those rasters position, with the Azami being played probably on those rasters position. And then as well, obviously, the mirrors as that third layer. It's just going to be a layered defense from F5, just making sure the time is going to be slowly just moved away from ZEN, and so F5 can always be in the advantage.
I also feel like taking your sweet old time to get these walls open is one of the most essential things, especially on Nighthaven. Once you lose either a hard breacher or just a first man on that attacking side, you are going to struggle for the remainder of the map. And that's what we continuously see. Sometimes just opening up windows and walls and just applying that phantom pressure is going to be enough to force the defender to make a mistake. But the main idea for these attackers is just don't fall first, use your drones, prioritize the execution, and then from there execute on it.
First wall opened up, only a minute gone, so not bad time usage from ZEN Esports, but they're still probably going to have to go around, open up the IT. Cameras also being shot up. Valkyrie wasn't said on the board, but they do have Valkyrie could be used for an ECC 4 pick from down below. And we're seeing actually right now, Perseus has pre-placed it. So we're going to be probably seeing maybe a pre-placed E4 either on this connector side or somewhere else. Just wait to see if he gets the calls, and he does. Perseus, a wonderful pick. It's not on the Blackbeard, but is probably going to be on that execute operator. Now he's going to come face to face with the Blackbeard, knocks him down. Does he get up in time? No, Kiwi takes him down. So we are going 1 for 1 at the start of this round.
Beautiful call there. I mean, that C4 takes care of business, but instantly he gets refragged out. Now, Valkyrie has done her job, but still poses the problem that you've lost a 1 for 1. Capitao poses so much utility to the execute and integrity of the attacking roster, but still getting a refrag is so huge here for ZEN as they continue to progress through a connector.
Definitely, and they get another pick. Kiwi takes down Z-Man, a wonderful shot by the Thermite, and the Blackbeard has taken great positioning up through the electrical side. Going to see face a shotgun from the Mute and a C4 that will land. No, it doesn't. He just gets up a 5 one that actually lands with his shots, but a wonderful shot right back by Domingo. Now we're looking again with the attack having that advantage. It's up to the remaining 2 players, Fire and Chi, to try to stop this from going down. Vert and Ymir also low on HP, so it still could definitely just swing onto the favors of the defenders. But with 30 seconds left, the attackers have to make a push here.
You're seeing, though, Fire needs to rotate between 1 and 2 positions, but Chiggle help him up by taking care of that long angle to connector. He'll take care of the man in electrical. That's 2 beautiful kills here, forcing Blackbeard to have that shield retracted as he needs to get his hands dirty. He took damage from that gas pipe. He took damage from Fire earlier into the round, and now he's put into a horrible spot where he has to take the ones. An easy headshot for Fire. He's been pre-aimed. He knows exactly where he is in the first round. Goes to F5.
That's wonderful stuff from F5, even when in that disadvantage, even when losing the bodies quickly, they are still able to just push back, play their layers, play their utility, and know what they are relying on, know what their win condition is, know what ZEN Esports win condition is, and get it done, and also just not shake. When you're in that man deficit, especially facing up against a Blackbeard, sometimes players just shake a little bit and then get nervous and make mistakes, but they didn't. They're able to stay calm under the pressure and get the kills they needed to win out that round. We're now going to see a new bomb site. We're going to be seeing the basement bomb site.
Now, sometimes we see teams get stuck in the past and just stay on one site consistently. I mean, it doesn't matter if they lose it or win it. They will go back to the same site on and on and on. So I'm happy to see that F5 are going to go downstairs, but they did win it. It was just a little bit of a side point I wanted to bring up. They get to hold that basement site, and something we saw when they played it before is the fact is they are scared to get aggressive when they have the kills lined up for them, and they get over aggressive in the moments that do not allow them to do so. Verticality, one of the biggest spots of this site, and now they're going to have to try to prioritize playing it, otherwise they're going to suffer the consequences.
Definitely. But I do like the change, bringing over the Deimos to just completely change the fact of that roam game. Because it does look like there's going to be a heavy roam game going on. You bring the Deimos was one of those operators to just whittle down those operators that are just lurking around. The question is, looking at his scans, are they going to be enough? Because there is at least one player he doesn't have scanned, and that could be one of the players that is going to be on this top floor. So it could just come down to a good old drone work to just snuff these players out. But they're not completely on the top floor. And also another player that obviously doesn't even work on Deimos is going to be that Vigil. But that's why you bring along the IQ. You throw the Deimos tracker out, or you throw the Deimos tracker out onto the Vigil. He then is forced to use his ability. He's forced to be scanned by the IQ, and the IQ can then give out the comms on where the Vigil is playing and where he's trying to hide.
They're taking their sweet old time to try to clear out each and every single one of these roamers, which I find beautiful. I would rather a team take their sweet old time and execute in the last minute than make the mistakes earlier, rush the execute, and then get caught off guard and then forced to be on their back heel for the rest of the round. But as we say that, attackers open it up. It'll be ZEN who will find Stealth. That'll be the first as he will fall. Castle is roaming upstairs, but a little bit of an interesting roam. But they will have Z-Man still here to continue his legacy, can try to punish at least one player before he falls as well, but as verticality is being established over the area he's in, he'll be forced to rotate out into lounge. And here he's going to have to keep himself on the back heel, considering we saw almost early access into kitchen, but since then they saw the castle, rotated out, and went to go play on the electrical upstairs side.
Yeah, and Z-Man, he's looking for that flank, looking for that backstab. With the Vigil, obviously not going to be able to be spotted by any drones, but the question mark is, are they going to be aware of this? He's not even using the ability, and that is going to be no. Domingo gets off at the last second. I was looking at where they were, but there you go. Kiwi actually went back on it, and I think he must have spotted the Vigil, but the Vigil may have already gotten past to electrical, because the drone was actually inside of the lounge. And did he also be spotted by the drone inside of the pillar position? I don't think he was. He's now dropped back down into lounge anyway, and now trying to help his team. But again, they're just melting time. 30 seconds left, and they really haven't even tried to attempt to get down onto the space in time.
Cheek, C4, it's the second in a row for F5. C4 kills. Perseus follows up by taking care of Domingo. Z-Man onto Pingo, seeing, wow, it is gone. Ramir takes care of Fire as a refrag. It'll be a double as the second Vertzi takes care of Perseus, but still, there's 10 seconds left on the clock, and there's a roamer you haven't accounted for. Verticality is established, meaning Z-Man's gonna take his perfect time. That plank goes down, deal with him, but guess what? The case is not in your hands, and you guys are still gonna have to deal with the ones. Z-Man, death from above, takes care of Vertzi, leaving the Nomad by her lonesome in the site and giving that second round to F5.
Yeah, just question marks going along the board for Zen. They are able to get the ground quickly. You said it perfectly. They were able to just make sure there was no one roaming. They drones were out. And in the end, they had a minute 30 after getting the first pick, after getting most of the control they needed for that execute. But the go buttons never happened. They never actually went for it. And it just felt like they just completely stalled out, allowing F5 to completely adapt, allowing them to get back into positions to retake the ground they had lost, get the picks back, get the C4s out, and just hold strong in their defense, and they were able to win out the round. Zen just looked like maybe they're a little bit timid, maybe they're a little bit scared at the moment of how strong F5 are coming at this game, because they just need to get a little bit faster when they are going for their executes.
It's been interesting so far. It's been beautiful so far on the edge of F5. Zen have been showing us the glimpse of the right attacks, but they haven't done enough to further the lead. They'll find the first pick, but from there, what are you guys doing? In the first round, they suffered first blood, but the refrag ability was excellent 2 times in a row. Last round, they managed to get the first, but again, no substance out of that. Now, we're still in the earlier stages, and thankfully, this is a BO3, which I haven't been able to say for the last couple of weeks, but that means we have multiple venues where either team will be given constant chances to either prove themselves or show us how resilient they are. For now, Zen is going to be down, but they have so much time left in the series. But they cannot, and I mean they cannot get mental chucked, and that's why the timeouts are going to play a crucial part of this. You both have coaches. The question is, when are you guys going to prioritize calling those timeouts, talking to them, and gaining their insight?
Yeah, you may have taken a little bit damage from the run-up, but they at least do get this breach open. Obviously, they had to slowly work around that mute jammer that was going to be on the wall. Ram going to be throwing in the drones. I'm pretty sure the Ram drone's actually muted still, because I don't know if they even shot the mute jammer. So I don't think the drone work's actually going to be working out. I don't think the vert control is going to slowly start happening, but they've got that main control. They've been able to open up that breach, and that's what they want to do, because now they can slowly start getting ready to go for that plant. And they go there, finally shoots the mute jammer, gets the drone work going, gets the Ram going, and now we're looking at vert happening on the board and allow them to just slowly make the players on site just feel a little bit less comfortable. And their next step is going to be opening up this connector wall, trying to then get one of the top floor players as well, just forcing these players back, forcing them from their roam and forcing them into sight, so they just become fish in a barrel to shoot at.
3 players now on that second floor, one of them being Solus. If you didn't know, Solus is hypothetically going to be getting impacts. Rumored to be getting a buff, but the question is, what's that buff going to be? So far, it's rumored to be those impacts. So, lovely to see her already pre-buff. But as of now, verticality is yet to be touched here. Nobody is on site. Nobody's trying to take care of those players that sit in IT, and they're going to pay for that. Z-Man, Fire, everybody on F5 is getting their chunk of the pie. That's 3 bodies dropped now for Zen in trade of 1. Make it 4 as Cheek takes care of Domingo. Umir, you've been trying to play verticality for so long. You've been dancing around and about this breach, but you've done absolutely nothing to try to get your hands dirty. And there it is. There's that timeout being called. It's it's needed. The 3-0 advantage is just not something you want to be able to come back from, especially if the team builds their momentum past that 3rd round mark. You're looking at a negative split regardless of what you do. Zen, lots of things need to be addressed, and the first is going to be, can we get in the face of F5 before they swing us and take care of each and every one of us?
That's actually probably the worst round, in my opinion, actually coming out from Zen.
Agreed.
It all looked just a completely just not together at all. They were completely just... I'm trying to figure the word, but they were just not together. They were not communicating. Maybe they're communicating, but they just weren't really looking for those refrags. We saw 2 players dying outside of breaches, not with the team that was pushing in, not trying to make sure the refrag was available. Even the Hibana was actually flashed by their own flash grenade. It just question marks all the board. It all looks like right now they're looking for those solo plays, looking for their solo advantages, just looking to be the gap. All people trying to just go for those gaps, trying to be the hero, trying to go for their own individual plays, and it just doesn't work out for them. Luckily for them, they do now get their 3rd ban on the board. Obviously, F5 get another ban, but I feel like this will definitely help Zen a little bit more. If maybe we see the 2 banned out, I wouldn't be surprised, but instead we're going to see the Mirror. A good ban, but the only thing is, that only affects one side, because I'm pretty sure Mirror's only bought on this top 4 defense. So when we go on back to that basement bomb site, when we go back to that middle 4 bomb site, it's not really going to help out. But Stealth brings up something that wasn't banned out, brings up something that hasn't been seen yet, brings up something that maybe they were hiding to use in this 2nd quarter, and that's going to be the clash.
I really hope that timeout continued to talk about the mistakes, because again, as you mentioned, that might have been the worst round we've seen out of Zen in the previous 3. They looked scared, they looked hesitant. Meanwhile, F5 were playing like a unit. They were cohesive on the plays, the swings, and what they wanted to be done. So as of now, all Zen has to do is just starve out one singular round. For anyone, a 5-1 is better than a 6-0. But you guys need to continue, just keep your foot on the gas, because still a 3-3 is still achievable by the halftime switch. All you guys have to do is continue to have that positive attitude towards the attacking site. But everything will be reset here, as the objective rotation parameters will re-unlock that 2nd floor. And let's see how Zen are going to approach it for their 2nd time.
Definitely, but they're going to be getting the walls open just at the same time. But I don't know if they even got this wall open last time. It looked like it was mainly just a funnel through that one side, but it will be Kiwi getting it open, and they're also going to be using the can openers actually this time to open up the connector side. The only thing that was stopping them was probably going to be those mute jammers, and they're no longer going to be in their way. And again, it looks like they are going to be going from this top lolly side, trying to go for this connector side, execute. At least the Grim is going to be on that side, and that's normally the operator you can look at to see. The other way to look at where an execute is going to come down is where the diffuser is. Right now, he's just on the roof, so there's no concurrent way of being able to be like, okay, that's where they're going to go for the plant because the diffuser's here. But because the Grim's over there, they're going to be getting those Grim beats out, finding out where these players are playing, and with the Thermite going over there too, it definitely looks like their main focus is going to be trying to plant on the pillar, get through connector, and that's when they're going to be looking for those frags. I do also like, without the mirror, they've made a little bit of external pressure that instantly reinforced it, just to make another layer for the attack to go through.
Now, these defenders are going to have to be careful not to hop on their chems, as that IQ is lurking from below, trying to get a lucky kill. But that drone first catches the mute on his camera, which is a little ironic considering his ability. But still, these guys played very interesting when it came to approaching the connector side. They got 2 refrags very narrow, very close, but they have to focus on getting first pick and then building off of it. But as Peng takes very heavy damage from that Nitro Cell, they're going to sit back, relax, preserve his life, while Kiwi will open up that connector breach. Z-Man gets first blood, and then Perseus follows it up by taking care of Vertzi. And Stealth is in the middle of outside, just relaxing on the IT terrace, while the attackers are continuing to lose bodies. Now Peng finally gets a refrag onto Z-Man. He'll get the second by taking care of Fire. Health is just an illusion to him as he'll get his double, but Perseus takes care of Kiwi. And then Peng right after. It's a triple for Perseus, but in the meantime, Stealth will go down an instant as Domingo finds his second, and now we find ourselves in a 1v1. Cheeg yet to die so far. is now forced in a situation where he's just gonna have to continue to run out the clock. It works in his favor. That's just half a minute left, but that Kiba barrier doesn't stop Domingo. He'll just walk through you and then the Kiba and shut you down. Post timeout, it'll be Zen to finally grab a round.
I was gonna glaze them on how they're doing so well again. I think F5 did really well in that round and whittling the picks down, playing as a team, but then classic overheat. They swung too much, gave away too many picks, and gave away their lives. Another thing also, a little very small thing that actually happened in that round was, I think it was Perseus who was the person playing on the Denari. As soon as they heard the firebolt come out by the Capital, they picked up the shield and then moved it further back. It was actually a very smart play. Didn't come out with the round victory. Actually probably hurt the Azami in that situation. But ZEN Esports, especially Penguin, very good in the clutch. Again, I said in the first round how F5 were able to stay calm when in that man disadvantage. Penguin showed calmness, certified. He was cold in that moment to just be able to kick off the 1v1 gunfights and then win out the round. Very good job from Penguin. But what I'm looking right now, we saw Perseus do this a lot in Element Quals, and it's going to be that pulse shotgun. He actually cooked up on it. I didn't see a round where he played pulse shotgun where he didn't either get the C4 kill or the shotgun kill. Can he bring similar success into this game?
I think just basing ourselves off of that last round, main key things that we need to see is Zen getting more aggressive. Domingo, when contested one challenge, rose to the occasion. He got 3 kills very quickly and ended a 1v3 very quickly. But on the other side, F5 needs to avoid overheating to stop feeding people like Domingo from capitalizing. Now, Ymir, instead of just getting 1 kill, will take care of Perseus, but cannot get his original objective, which is to just finish off Z-Man. Stealth gets his refrag, but needs to risk either going for the kill or going to res his teammate. But as he's being clamped, that wallbang from Peng downtown on Rafters takes care of Stealth, and still Z-Man is still alive. Domingo falls via TK. That's 2 wallbangs for you, Peng, just not the way you thought it would have worked out. And that forces the case to go down. Verti takes care of Z-Man, and now it'll all slow down while the attackers need to reset and figure out what's up next.
I will say that's a very good opening start from Zen, able to get in quickly, get in the map, and then also just get those frags out. Unfortunate that Penguin was shooting his teammate through the wall instead of the enemy, but he gets it done, and now we're looking at, never mind, I was about to say them in the advantage, but Cheeg gets the pick back, gets his team back into evens. He's still on that second floor, but now they're being able to just rush down, take the site, and maybe go for this plant, execute. They know there's one player inside a cargo. They know
oh no, what are you doing?
You knew the Cheek was over in that area, and you're just giving away your life, giving away the man advantage, and giving away the round as Fire gets that final pick. And we look at F5 winning a round they probably shouldn't have, but again, that is just the tier 2 quality they bring to this game.
Oh man, so many things just went wrong. Why are we running with our gun down in the middle of sight? It doesn't even matter if you don't have intel. I feel like it's a great rule of thumb. Just don't sprint in the sight. You know, nice and easy. Easy to keep your finger on it. Z-Man wasn't even flanking this time on that Animus hatch, and they still managed to get 2 very easy kills. It was uncontested. It was beautiful. Beautiful refrag from Zen, which we can continue to say because their refrag ability is generally pretty good. But they cannot capitalize. They can't pull ahead first, and that is just going to continue to be a problem for you guys, especially on a map like Nighthaven. It's a defender-sided map, especially with the bans that you guys are suffering against. A 4-1 lead, I think it should be 5 at this point, but still so many things to learn from, and hopefully they'll have the bullet points for next map already queued up.
Definitely, but they can still get the next round because obviously with the 40 split, I feel like you can come away with that, Zen. But just how good F5 were on this round last time round out, they definitely can just like completely shut it down and just win it out. But Stealth, he's bringing that Clash again. Last time he overhit a little bit. Last time he spent most of the round on Clash, outside the map actually. We're going to see if maybe he brings out some similar aggressive nature. But we're going to see the same type of attack as well from Zen. Again, they really like coming from this connector side. We saw it when they attacked top floor, and we're seeing it again when they attack top floor. That's their main pick. Surprising to see we're not going to see the Ying shotgun. We're going to see Ying in favor Unluckily for F5, they don't bring the Warden to counter it, but instead they bring a gun to counter the Capital. Fire takes the first pick, and now we're looking at a man advantage for F5.
By the way, the second time Capital has been first picked out of 6 rounds. If that's not an issue, I don't know what is. You need him for the later stages of the round, and you guys have yet to utilize him correctly. We've only seen it used once on Electrical, and that wasn't even a full clear. Now, having to deal with Ying, yes, poses a problem with not having a Warden, but it definitely is much easier when Warden is not on the board and you also have a man advantage. Just slow things down and force out the mistakes from Electrical, you should be A-okay. And it's funny you mentioned that. Ying has a fully automatic secondary, still yet prefers to bring that LMG. So it's going to force out a couple of interesting plays in this round, but she's going to have to prioritize taking those long-range gunfights, considering she has that ACOG. But in the meantime, Peng just swings Perseus and takes care of it because she gets too scared to swing, which is ironic considering all you guys wanted to do on this site was swing.
Yeah, definitely. But we're now looking at the Clash just having such an aggressive position onto that breach. Thermite nearly losing the life. Same with IQ. The drones are going to come out. Looks like they're going to be pushing this Ying through that water side. Definitely going to be an issue right now. Ash nearly getting the shot, nearly again onto the 2-bar, just not paying attention to where they can be fragged out from. Ying now trying to also just take this blue control, who's taking it onto their position, and they're going to be doubled up by IQ. But Z-Man gets the pick 5, gets another kill, gets one.
Wow,
and now we're looking at a 1v2 situation, Domingo versus the world, but we've seen Zen be able to clutch from a situation like this before.
Same person as well. Interesting Candela, but there's 2 more to get it right. It was once he had somebody down and 2 players left alive. It was Domingo the first time. Can he do it the second? Oh, fulfill that prophecy. You have the call exactly on where he is. That Candela is not going to go off in enough time to be able to locate out. That timer doesn't matter, but Domingo will finish off Z-Man, so that intel will no longer be provided to him even when he's in that site. That plant looks to go down and will go down successfully, and that barricade surely has to be heard. But Domingo still has his focus is turned on to Cheeg as he gets him below that 50 HP mark. They're around the same HP. All impacts exhausted, and now a 1v1 in the close range. Domingo does it again! Zen narrowly have run into a 4-2 split, and they'll be doing the defense now. Let's see if they can continue down that path paved by the man himself named Domingo.
Very, very good clutch coming out from him. Question marks on why the army just rotated downstairs. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like you just play with your teammates. And I think there's going to be an issue right now, at least from the last 2 rounds we've seen F5 lose, was just a lot of just 1v1 swings. We didn't see them swing together. We didn't see the refrag be attempted either. We saw a play just rumble. Maybe just didn't think they had enough time to go for the defuse, but he gets it done and then also is able to win the clutch. And now we're seeing the bans come either way for the side swap. The half is over, and I'd say Zen have done a really good job winning that top floor choice, winning themselves a good advantage going onto their own defenses. And now we're looking at the Cade and Ace being the first banned out. Same 2 operators we saw banned out on the first half as well.
Did Milo just disconnect, or am I tweaking?
No, I'm here.
Oh, sound like you just disconnected. What the hell? Maybe it's just me.
No, I don't. My point was finished.
Oh, okay. Crazy that it's only 1 man to get 2 clutches. If they didn't have Domingo on the Zen roster, we'd be looking at a 6-0 split right now. The man is absolutely...
I
swear it was Domingo. Oh, Domingo was the one who got the triple kill. Domingo was the one who got that triple kill that led up to that point. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. That has been a an interesting round. Both times around on the same exact site. It just looks like F5 are overheating. In that area, in that space, all you guys have to do is either play off of the sound of him trying to plant or the intel on the guy who's down in that front desk corner. 2 players watching the cross of each other while Ying has to bait one of you to swing out would have been the ideal round to get you that 5-1 split. But still, they've done the best of their ability, and they've gotten 4 on the board. Now they're going to have to do a little bit more on the attacking side. It's more demanding on the attacking side of things on Nighthaven, and if you make a mistake, you surely will be punished for it, so they're going to have to be very, very careful as they approach this up their site.
Definitely. But we're maybe seeing just a different way of attacking it as well, because hopefully we don't just continuously see the same side take every single round from ZEN Esports. When they attacked the top 4, it always came from Connector. They actually adapted a little bit in that last final round. We saw a little bit of a split take. We saw a couple of people go from Blue, and we saw a couple of people go from Connector. So it was at least nice to see a little bit of a change coming out, and that's actually probably what won them the round, because how much of a great effect that split side water people actually did for the round. Now we're going to see looking likely to just become mainly a Rafters take, because they're probably going to just push the shield through that Rafters window, get him in there quickly, and then get him in there fast. And we've seen also players go from below Rafters as well. The breach is most likely open, seeing how they actually have nothing to really stop a breach from getting open. And then also still just going to put a little bit of pressure onto that connector side by opening up the breach as well. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's also still going to be that connector side execute, because we're seeing a lot of players move over and slowly just get positioned to maybe go for that side.
Siege timing for both sides swinging on that electrical door, but both sides will live to tell the tale. Z-Man taking damage on Capitao. It just seems like Capitao has not been a positive operator so far for either side. Now both Capitao Flame Bolts and an air jab will be utilized to try to take care of the man who resides on Rafters. Still, the Kiba barriers are present. Sheik is now on the Rafters front lines with Perseus watching the cross in from that IT swing. Now it is a very, very useful, it's a very useful ability to be able to have that breach open and use it to be able to help your teammates out that are trying to advance out onto Rafters. Now these defenders have just below a minute left to be able to try to address each and every body, considering there are 4 of them stacked up and approaching this site.
Yeah, but now we're seeing Perseus pushing through the breach, push in to get a better position, but no ZEN player is giving away any bodies, no giving away unneeding swings. Until then, Perseus with a wonderful shot onto the
my God!
The old man still got it. Unk is cranking right now as he kills 2, but now he gets aggressive. Well, no, they get aggressive, take him down. Kiwi and Penguin trying to get aggressive onto the player, doing the damage. But now we're looking at it completely. Swing into the favor. ZEN got aggressive at the perfect time. They knew what player was isolated, and they were able to take him down. And now Z-Man has been left on an island with 10 seconds left. It's looking like it's going to be impossible for him.
Oh my God, they overheated yet again. That's 3 rounds now that they have overheated on one man's momentum. Peng delivers that final blow onto top Raptors, but there was no time left on the board regardless. Consistent issues that are persisting, and they continue to pop up, and it's one main one. Stop overheating and stop overswinging. I feel like it can't be that hard. Whoa. I mean, what do you even say to that point? Where you have Thermite walking in, delivers one beautiful shot, and follows it up with a 1-tap, a 2-man advantage, then you guys all crumble apart and lose 3 and 4 bodies in the next 10 seconds. It just can't be done. But ZEN, props to them as they now close down that deficit to just 1.
I will say, I think that does mainly come down. I think they did overswing a little bit, but I think that does mainly come down to ZEN Esports being able to see what player was isolated, because they instantly, as soon as they realized, oh, Thermite is probably the guy Lonesome, the other 3 players are Rafters, instantly just took their double up, take the guy on the solo guy, the Thermite, take him down, and then since they had that position, they were able to swing out the other guys that were also isolated. I think they just were very smart who they picked off one by one. It definitely does come down to them giving away those 1v1 gunfights, giving away, making sure they don't. I think F5 did a really poor job of playing the buddy system. I think that was their main issue. They just left too many players isolated.
I mean, we saw ZEN call their timeout, and so far it's been working out. We need to see. We need to see when they use that timeout in response. We need to see a timeout. It needs to be used. I don't care what anyone says. We need to see that timeout. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a jammer up there that stopped the boogie drone from going off. Now, an easy shot to the boogie drone's gas canister will prevent fire from playing verticality, but it won't prevent fire from delivering an R4C bullet to your brain, as they'll take care of the bandit, making it infinitely easier to open up that breach. Now, Perseus is going to have a great time once these wires are shot off of the existing breach. Now the attackers will be playing verticality.
Yeah, that was a wonderful shot coming out from Fire, and now we're looking at them again get that man advantage. The question mark is there's going to be the Valkyrie all the way on that top floor, all the way inside of servers. Are they able to suss them out? Are they able to take them down? Also, the bomb site is basement, by the way. A wonderful shot from Penguin. I'd say the bomb site is basement. It's currently, no one's in basement. Everyone is actually going to be either on that 1F or the 2F. Vert's actually all just gone down to basement finally, so there's at least someone on the site. Fire, though, takes down the roaming Valkyrie.
Bang!
And now we're seeing a lot of the defense to go down, but as you said, bang, the C4 actually doesn't really kill anyone. So sadly for them, doesn't work out, but they are able to just at least keep some of their numbers strong. And now looking to shoot on through the Vert, but the Blackbeard doesn't go down, and luckily for F5, they still have man advantage and they still have their shield.
Silver lining of that is you've beamed that Blackbeard down to where he has to be mindful of whatever he does. Domingo has an impact left as well. The second that Blackbeard goes for either a plant or any form of aggression, he's dead. Any feat, anything, he goes down. And as you're going to find Fire trying to take care of two players on that verticality aspect, you guys are relying on one player to take care of this business. Well, meanwhile, he is going nuclear. Domingo is going to be taking care of on-site problems as well. But Fire is going to consistently be that thorn in your side as he'll get the 4th of the round, and Domingo is now the lowest one on the board, as he's going to have to deal with the Blackbeard, the intel from the external, and the breach being opened all at the same time. Cheeg sticking it while Perseus holds that cross, and Fire applies that pressure from Exo. Won't even need it as Perseus delivers that final blow. It's only one bullet needed, and F5 finally find a round for themselves.
Hey, I feel like comms haven't gone well there for F5. I'm surprised the Perseus took that kill. I'm surprised there was no comm for the ace badge because it was on the 4K. The Melusi was 1 HP. Could have gone for it, but hey, Perseus gets the final kill, and F5 at least get that round. And I'd say that's a very good attack. They're able to figure out what was going on, but I do still see some issues being that they're still leaving a lot of isolated players on the board. You said it right there. The Ram was the only person on that Vert. If the Castle swing at the same time, get that pick, then the Vert is lost, the man advantage is lost, and then we're looking at a situation where F5 are really in a rock and a hard place with the two players downstairs. The Blackbeard having to just deal with the verticality would have been impossible, and then would look at probably ZEN Esports taking the round out. But luckily, the player's too nasty, he gets both players on that Vert, and then we're looking at F5 just roll on forward. We will see a reattempt. Oh no, we're seeing the middle floor bombs actually for the first or second time this game. We actually saw it once by F5. It was one out, and it's actually currently technically the only bomb site with 100% win rate for the defenders. Can ZEN Esports keep up that stat going? It is mostly seen actually as a harder bomb site. And with F5 again going to now a different shield, it's probably going to be a lot harder for ZEN Esports to just hold down.
Let's hope the same problem of overheating doesn't exist here for Zen, but it looks like a space issue is their main idea of a problem, because we see them get a little carried away when it comes to roaming, and then they pay that price by losing all bodies on site. Now, having that pulse may temporarily solve that problem, but again, he's offside as well. So while you guys have to deal with all of this pressure, everyone else is just trying to stay alive. Now, a little bit of an interesting extension, because the site is all the way in the basement, yet we have the extension all the way out into connector. Zen find the first on the C4 onto Perseus. Say goodbye to that Monty. C4 blown up by that spread damage of that frag grenade, and now Peng follows it up by taking care of Cheeg. And somehow this is actually working. Mir takes care of Fire, but Z-Man gets 2. He'll almost tie it up, but still they'll have that 3-man advantage, which is now narrowed down to just 1. Stealth, looking to be that man who will lurk in and punish you for your crimes of being unaware. But that jammer, if he gets close enough, will jam that logic bomb after it charges up. But Warden is caught unaware. His headset's left up at home as Stealth is lurking, gets 1, but gets lurked and gets roamed. As now, Pulse just comes up from behind, takes care of business, and completely backs off, because again, his main idea is to just back off. If I'm not mistaken, he has that shotgun as his primary, and now it's all easy for Zen to just sit back, relax, and bait out Z-Man.
Definitely. Z-Man doesn't even have the case. He now goes to pick it up. He gets it under control. And now he only has 2 players to find. But the problem is, as soon as he goes to this track, Bandit, he's on a mute jammer anyway. So he can just run it, go find a mute jammer, get it down. and now he just about misses to go over that Vert, and with actually Vert going up those cargo stairs, he's able to keep himself safe, but Ymir doesn't even need the help of his teammates. As soon as that Vert is established onto him, he flicks back, shoots him right in the head, and gets the round for ZEN Esports. One round away from tying it up as we get into the final quarter of this game.
I find it hilarious that it was him to get the kill on Verticality, because as he delivered that final headshot, somebody said that he's either making Vert doing nothing or looking up at it cluelessly, and he delivers the final kill doing exactly that. I feel like it's ironic, and I feel like it's poetic in a way, considering F5 are only a round away from being tied up, as ZEN are continuously making a beautiful comeback. And yet, no timeouts are present. It's not like they're preserving it for the next map, because you get a timeout for each map you play out here. F5 is starting to struggle with the consistent pressure from ZEN, and they're crumbling against it, as that large margin they once had is completely faded.
Also, I wouldn't actually be too scared about throwing out a timeout just now. If I was the coach of F5, I honestly probably wouldn't even take a timeout even just yet, just because you still got the lead. Out of the 3 attacks, the 3 defenses you've seen, F5 probably should have won 2. Yes, they threw away the first one, but then they win the second one very easily, very comfortably, and then the final one, it could have also gone either way. There was at least in a 2-2, but it came down to a 2v1, which unfortunately the Demos just can't get it done. And then you get the second bans to be able to change up the game, change up the rhythm. Now, if F5 lose this round, that's when I'd call the timeout, stop the momentum that ZEN is slowly building up, and then be able to call the team, be like, hey, this is what we're doing wrong, let's play more together, and then make sure we're able to just establish those refrags when they get them done. But even then, if F5 do, say, lose this round, they are still comfortable winning that basement defense, and they will still probably, at the very much, definitely get overtime, I'd see. But right now, we're seeing them again go for, or at least this time actually go for the other side. Last time we saw them go for that Rafters execute, we're probably going to see them change it up and go for that connect to execute the ZEN Esports themselves love so much.
Finally, more than 40 seconds into the round, we don't see a body drop. I feel like that's a world record for us at this point. But seeing the Aura on the board kind of is refreshing to see, as it inspires different types of plays to either discourage roaming or to cut off angles you don't want to deal with when you're going for an execute. But as it stands, that site is on the uppermost on the uppermost floor, and you have verticality, and you also have that Rayora. So many different possibilities here for an execute. But all F5 have to do is maintain that man advantage once they get it, because it's usually the team that establishes verticality with Buck from below to get that man advantage, if we're basing it off of the NAL and the SAL. But as of now, it's all setting up for action. 90 seconds remain, and now they'll start to play verticality.
One issue right now is the Malusi was aggressing so much in electrical. They were so worried about them swinging when they pushed in to try and take connector that it then actually allowed ZEN Esports to be able to reinforce the connector breach. Now they actually have nothing really on that side. They'd have to funnel in through the electrical side, and they've got the mirror window just in case to maybe go for that mirror trick. And they're going to post it down. It doesn't even matter. So they can at least get the information from the connector side. But the Buck doing damage, just not getting a kill though for his troubles. And now we're looking at, again, them just being able to just annoy F5 of just staying alive, staying up, and they still have nothing for their troubles. And again, look at this, the Buck just not being able to take anyone down. This is a complete potato fest from the Chiig, but Percy at least instantly gets the refrag on that Monty, on the shield, and now we're looking at the effect of F5 trying to go for a take, just not being able to get it done because of the Buck not being able to get any kicks on that Vert.
You have to ask yourself how that Buck didn't kill the smoke in that time. Z-Man finishes off Kiwi. Perseus loses a crazy amount of HP from vertical abilities, and he doesn't realize that yet. But both him and Z-Man will fall, and it's just Stealth left outside of IT. We've seen this similarly, but for the other side, as now verticality is established, Mira is just parked out in electrical here because that case is forced loose, and it's ZEN to tie it up. The verticality you once established has come back to haunt you, as now F5 have lost the lead and all.
Yeah, definitely. That's just, it comes down to plays that then have made in that round that really just pushed it into their favor. I'd say first of all, being able to reinforce the connector side meant that F5, that since they'd already used their second X thermal onto IT, they were forced to funnel in through doorways. They did it well at first. They were able to get those picks, get the advantage, and make themselves into that 3v2. But because of the fact that Buck was no longer alive, no longer controlling the vert for his side, they were able to retake it as defenders, get rid of the shield, get the man advantage back into their favor, push Stealth into that 1v2. He misses the shots crucially onto the mirror, rotating through electrical, and then he's left in a situation that completely just doesn't favor him. And now we're seeing ZEN slowly rack up this comeback. F5, they've got to be confident here. They know they were able to win out this site last time. They know they were able to win it out very comfortably with that Blackbeard in tow, and they're bringing it again. The question mark is, are they going to be able to deal with this round without bleeding bodies, without bleeding too much time, and without giving away the advantage for ZEN Esports?
Now, this is ZEN's pick. So this is much more realistic for them to be able to win this, especially that they're on their favorite side. It's all evened out. It's very realistic to be able to bring it back, call it yours. But still, going down in the first half like that wasn't very realistic to be able to bring back, but they took that timeout and they took the time to be able to do so. All they have to do is deliver that final nail, and that's exactly what they're going to do. As Wimmer opens it up by taking care of Fire, say goodbye to all verticality for the rest of that round. You have Sledge on that soft ability, but still, he's going to be playing with Fire as there are 4 impacts and 2 C4s across the board.
That's a very funny first bit, because the last time we saw this basement bomb site, Fire did the same thing. He threw the round drone, and even if it didn't work, he was then able to use the defender's vertical to take rid of Ymir on the bandit. But this time round out, he does the same thing. He throws a round drone that actually works this time, and with his vertical established, he actually loses the gunfight to Ymir on the bandit. So apparently your own vertical is actually there to kill you. And now we're looking at ZEN Esports. I said they cannot bleed bodies early round, and especially bleeding one that isn't even a roamer, it's just one in sight, is definitely an issue, especially with Vigil still being able to just run around on this top floor, giving away just so much time for the side of ZEN. And a C4 goes out, doesn't land on the Blackbeard. It does, but luckily for him, the shield blocks it enough. But then Domingo, the Vigil still roaming around, throws his impacts, take him out, and now we're looking at such a dominating advantage for ZEN Esports. We're seeing them be able to clutch out, but now it's going to be up for the side of F5, but the Boss G comes out, it rings out, and Z-Man also is down for the count. He's not out, but, well, Perseus is, though, as Ymir gets another on the round. The pickup will happen, so they're at least in a 5v2, but there's definitely not going to be a chance in this round that this actually happens.
I mean, we said that about that 1v3, and look how that turned out. Verticality completely dismantled temporarily, as most of the operators that were upstairs are going to completely back off, but Penguin and Vertsy want all of the smoke. As they'll engage, they'll take care of one. Z-Man will be finished off after going down earlier to the Vigil, so he'll get his revenge. Refragged out by Stealth, and still so much to do. The case is in hand, but you have below a minute on the clock, almost no health. Nothing to do, and finally that timeout will be called. It was long awaited where you needed this. The wallbang almost works out in your favor, but you missed it by nearly a bullet. As now ZEN, for the first time on Nighthaven, have claimed the lead and are 1 away from ending it out in regulation.
Looking at the man those last 5 being Stealth, I think he's actually having a really rough game. When they last won Nighthaven, I think they won it in their qualification game, and I also think they won it the game before. Both times, I'm pretty sure Stealth was that person to be at the top of the leaderboard, putting in the frags, putting in the work. And I think the fact that he isn't being able to play his game, get those picks, get those kills, is really what's holding F5 back right now. We need to see him playing just a little bit better in this game, in these rounds, and just being able to just put more picks on the board. right now, Flan Daddy, he's doing his work, doing his magic. I worked actually together with him all the way back when I was coaching Chaos Nation, and he is such a good coach. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows exactly how to get stuff done. He always knows what issues going wrong with the team. Every single time after a scrim, he would be just posting a full-on essay about this is what happened in this round, this is what happened in this round, this is what overall we need to do better as a team. And genuinely, he was probably the main reason the team did well. I was just riding off his coattails, honestly. But in this game, let's see if his timeout can help F5 out to at least go to overtime. We're seeing this middle floor bomb site, which again, F5 has won once, ZEN has won once. The only bomb site in this game to have a 100% win rate. F5, they need to crack it if they want to go 1-0 up in this series.
I don't know what to make fun of you first for, just being so old that you just said Chaos Nation or just glazing flan. But I will give it to you. He is a very good coach. He's the reason they're an element. He's a very, very good... He's able to analyze things very well. But I feel like it doesn't take a genius to realize that Stealth has died every round of this game. They've been getting carried away with their aggression, but so far, if we just talk about a fact of numbers, Stealth is the one that's been overheating and dying very, very fast. That has to be stopped. You need to be able to preserve the bodies. You need to be able to maintain that man count, especially when the team that you're playing against is on their home turf and has now just brought a comeback. They're fired up. They've built off that momentum, and anything that you guys had going on for you earlier on the game is nothing but a past fairy tale.
Definitely, breach is going to be getting opened up. There's going to be the warehouse breach opened up first. So Fire is getting that done. And they're going to be switching to the final and third shield. Obviously, there's also a few shield, but that's a gimmick, basically. But we're going to see the actual third shield operator come out. The Blitz is going to come out. I think actually the strongest current shield in this map. I think Blackbeard, well, yes, he's also strong, but I feel like he's a lot easier to deal with than when you're completely blinded. And nearly, the Blitz is dealt with. Wonderful from Penguin to just realize, hey, they're pushing water. Let me quickly go for this pick, go for this advantage, but he doesn't get it done. And now we'll look at them able to slowly just converge onto these players on the top floor with the Blitz, with the positioning, and they're slowly just waiting for every single attack to be in control, in position. If the Blitz runs through and Penguin completely keeps it off, it does mean they will then be isolated, but instead he keeps it off early, and now he's going to be pushed,
my God.
going to be flashed out, going to be
He did
blinded,
it.
and going to be, no! Penguin gets the pick, Domingo gets the next, and now we're looking at ZEN Esports maybe closing out the map.
An endless spray into the flashed abyss, and he'll walk out with a kill, and his teammates there to find his next, but Perseus finds 1 and 2. The old guy's got some tricks left in him after all, as he is going absolutely nuclear, but we saw what happened last time. He stopped the type. As long as he doesn't do that again, we are all good. Now, Verticality has been dismantled just a bit, but you still have those players you didn't account for on Rafters. Now, Perseus, in and around storage. Now, he can just walk into site, but two main things. He doesn't have the case, and Verticality's opened up everywhere. You're going to have to rely on Z-Man to either put some pressure on either that Vertsy player to go all the way down and find him, or take care of the players who are trying to rotate back into the site. But in the meantime, nobody's playing Verticality yet, as Domingo's preoccupied with everybody else. Now, Perseus just spraying out to distract the player who's in Lounge, but the plant will go down, and Pulse doesn't know anything. Now, Penguin needs to be able to isolate. Cannot do so. He's too low. Z-Man delivers that final blow. Perseus is there onto Domingo, and Stealth finds the final. And Milo, we're going to overtime.
Did not look like it. Again, we've seen so many of these rounds just flip. We've seen so many times where the early round goes into one team's favor, whether it's F5 or ZEN. But then, as I've heard so many times, I actually was recently watching a co-stream where I was watching Packers co-stream, and Ion said that the early round is the easiest part of the game. As soon as you get to that middle late round, hardest part of the game, it's where most teams struggle and lose out the round. And we see it so many times in this game. We've seen it again. ZEN struggle in that mid round. A beautiful lurk comes out from Perseus. Unk able to just get it done, get that double pick, and then take sight. No one there to really to stop him. The weird part is they had the vertical. They had complete top four. They should be able to stop that plant. They should know it's going down, but just question marks going around for ZEN Esports. Luckily for them, though, they get the defense on overtime. Since it's their map, they got to pick the overtime starting selection. They have the defense, they have the better side. But the thing is, last time we saw ZEN Esports, they called their timer and they went on a good run of rounds. We've just seen F5 call it. They won the last round from the timeout. Can they then use the momentum from winning that round, from using their timeout, and then continue to keep that momentum up and win out only this round? If they win this round with momentum, they get their first round on attack, they then get to move onto the defense, and then maybe win it out from there. But that's all hypothetical, and it's all going to be question marks.
I really wonder what was said in that timeout to fire them up to be able to bring a comeback down like that. They've managed to finally look alive for the first time in forever, but now they have to show us that they're here to stay. And I feel like a team that manages to win on their opponent's turf on their first map is definitely going to be sending a statement. By the time they get to Chalet, they're going to have that momentum re-established. But as of now, they're the ones with the down advantage. They don't have the momentum built up. They are on the opponent's turf, and they're on the attacking. All they have to do is replicate last round, and Milo, we might be looking at a crazy upset from this comeback.
Definitely, but it's going to be easier said than done, especially with the different site as well. Top floor, ZEN Esports have looked always strong on it. I think the first round definitely could have gone onto F5's favor, but now we're looking again, they're going to change push up. Last time they tried to attack the top floor, we saw the shield come out, we saw the Monty come out. We saw them trying to crutch that, pushing over onto that connector side, but we're seeing more of what the first take seemed to look like, where Perseus was able to start off with that double pick. Now we're seeing them completely get these Rafters control onto their favor, but I think the Rafters breach or the Rafters rotate has actually been reinforced, or if it hasn't, I'm surprised that no, it has yet. I was gonna say, I'm surprised the Rafters door plate wasn't taken out, but the thermite charge goes down, and they're able to re-establish that Rafters is going to be opened up. Good use from F5, good time use as well, as they still have a minute 15 to slowly start getting ready for their execute.
They have plenty of time to be able to reset, take their sweet old time to approach this. But as you've managed to get that first down, you're going to get hungry to try to finish off that Warden, especially with the amount of utility that he offers to his team's roster. Smoke starting to burn through these toxic babes like they're nothing, as he only has one left in the pocket. Mira utilizing her C4 and does find a connection onto Perseus, but fortunately for F5, they will have the breaches needed open, but still suffering that man loss. Now that two-man loss, now that third is definitely going to be an issue when it comes to trying to win out that round. Warden is revived and given a second chance at life, but you cannot say the same for Penguin, as you'll fall shortly after. And you're going to find yourselves with some Rafters control, some IT control, but the defenders all waiting, circling like sharks, trying to get their piece of the pie as they all continue to swing in and out, wasting your time, wasting your resources, as they try to claim this round for themselves.
Yeah, Jameer gets the next as well, and then Kiwi finishes it off. Wonderful round from ZEN, just able to waste the time with layers again. We saw them start with the Rafters extension, push back, reinforce that, they then have to use the thermite shards to completely open that, and again, then they have a minute 15. I do think F5 could definitely win out the round, but with the smoke babes as well wasted time, they then get the C4 pick, they then get the next pick, and they then just frag on their route. Kiwi telling them, okay, never mind. I thought he was just trying to say, hey, look, we're winning, but I'm not going to look at chat. F5, they can make it even again. They can make it go max overtime if they're able to do what ZEN Esports did and win out this top floor bomb site. Curious to see the F5 choose to go here, just because the last two times they've gone to this top floor, they lost it. So question mark's going to be, this is actually the only bomb site ZEN was able to win, actually, was the top floor. So I feel like the basement bomb site was stronger for them. I feel like the middle floor bomb site was definitely stronger for them. So I think this could actually be maybe a bad pick coming out from F5 here.
You're not going to read the chat. I will. I've already been so hesitant because of Stealth's name. But Milo, the opportunity presents itself. The Lion has to take it. Stealth has 6-7 in his name, and the score is 6-7. I feel like it's just a perfect thing to say, man. The prophecy has finally fulfilled itself. But it's interesting enough that they do go upstairs, considering the amount of chaotic rounds they've had. If I'm not mistaken, they've only won it once, which is an issue. But it's F5 after all. We've seen them do some crazy things and turn around rounds that shouldn't be won. So if there's anyone to bring it back, it'll be them. But still, choosing the hard way out. Still lots to learn from. All they have to do is just maintain that pressure on that vertical aspect of things, and maybe they'll find success this time around.
You know, it's another positive. Stealth has no longer died every single round.
Oh yeah, that's something to look forward to.
But again, look at what ZEN Esports is doing. They did it every other time they attacked top floor. They're doing it again, but this time with an added little spice. The Monty is going to be on their favor while doing this connector side execute. They've done it every single time. They haven't adapted. So all I'm saying is they definitely need to be able to adapt to it. Dying first on smoke stealth? I just said you hadn't died every single round. But you die on smoke first instead. Perseus gets the frag back, so it's very good from him to at least be able to just completely even up the scores. But with the intel, with the pings from the mobile camera, Domingo gets the next pick. And again, ZEN Esports are now in a man advantage and in a situation to win. Could the pick of the top 4 bomb site be the wrong one for F5 right now? It's looking that way.
Milo, who else, man? It just seems like Domingo, Grim, and that second floor get along. He is lethal on this site and is showing us that exactly. Now Fire sending out that C4 after hearing the vault, but it shot out the sky. As now, ZEN are starting to build up that pressure, taking care of 2 of the most influential ops on that defender side. And if Fire is next to go, I feel like we are going to be calling Nighthaven a wrap.
Definitely, Domingo still got so many of these Grim launchers, and then the thermite charge can be placed down, opening up that wall, make it easier to walk in, make sure you don't have to vault.
Oh, no.
And now we're looking at a situation where Fire, he's swinging around, going around crazy, but it's going to be Vert to get the next pick, and then another from Domingo, and now Cheeg is all left up on his lone swim, trying to fight the 1v4, shot in the back, can he get it done? Shots again, just isn't being able to land any of them right now, and we're looking at a situation, a bomb plant, a 1v4. If he wins this, it's going to be one of the best clutches of all time, but I don't think it's going to happen.
That Monty is just establishing so much pressure, even unextended. But having that pressure from Electrical as well means we have our winner, Milo. ZEN from a comeback for the ages, deliver that final blow and bring it back as they will now win their home turf. And we have to go to Chalet to decide if this is going to be a swift 2-0 or if F5 have enough courage left in them to send us to the next 3rd map.
Yeah, it's going to me. I don't know if we'll go the distance, but we'll have to wait and see. Chalet, anyone's games. I thought, honestly, that F5 would take it in 2. I thought, last time I watched them Nighthaven, they looked very good. Last time I saw them play, they were amazing on it. They were able to beat, obviously, that Skype team inside of Element qualifiers. But ZEN seems to be their kryptonite. We saw in chat that they said last time they played they were completely manhandled, and it's looking like it may go the way again of ZEN Esports, but time will tell, especially on Chalet.
So many things just went wrong for F5 there. They had such a successful margin by that half split. They were doing everything right, but they were getting overheated at moments, and we thought that wouldn't be too much of an issue considering they had so many rounds in advance. But as you can obviously tell, that paired up with the timeout perfectly executed by ZEN will deliver the final blow of a round and a map lost in overtime, meaning map 2 is going to be the make or break here for F5. Stay tuned. In 5 minutes, we'll be bringing Chalet, F5's pick. And if you've been enjoying, make sure to, leave a follow and show some appreciation for our observer, Lucy, who's taking the time out of her day to do this for us.
There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. If you're seeing things running through your head, who can you call? Ghostbusters! An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Oh, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If you're all alone, pick up the phone and call Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Ooh, I hear it likes the girls. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Who you gonna call? If you've had a dose of a freaky ghost, baby, you better call Ghostbusters. Ow! Let me tell you something. Mustn't make me feel good. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Don't get caught alone, no, no. When it comes to your door, unless you just want some more, I think you better call Ghostbusters. Ow! Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. I think you better call Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. I can't hear you. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Louder, louder, louder. Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Who can you call? Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. It likes the girls too.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from its slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
He
smash.
did the mash,
It was all in a
he
flash.
did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From a laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash,
They did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They did
smash.
the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they did the mash.
They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included the Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive when the vocal group, the Crypt Kicker
They
Five,
played the mash,
they played the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
played the mash,
It caught on in a
they
flash.
played the mash.
They play the Monster Mash. Out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
It's now the mash.
It's now the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
And it's a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
It's now the mash.
It's now the Monster Mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band. And my Monster Mash, a hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, just tell them boys sent you.
Then you can mash.
Then you can Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard
Then
smash.
you can mash.
You'll catch on in a flash.
Then you can mash.
Then you can Monster Mash.
Monster Mash. Monster Mash.
Get back now.
Monster Mash. Monster Mash.
Spooky, scary skeletons send shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight. Spooky, scary skeletons speak with such a screech. You
After F5 tossed that lead right out the window, they give themselves a second chance at life to be able to prove their grounds on Chalet, their home turf. Tyler, how are you feeling about that first game?
You only want to socialize. Cause spooky, scary skeletons shout startling, shrilly screams. They'll sneak from their sarcophagus and just won't leave you be.
But I also feel amazing for ZEN. I mean, being able to come back from that deficit, being able to slow down with your coach and talk about the things that are going wrong, it always is so great to see. In F5, I feel like waited too long to talk about what's wrong, how they can improve it, and how to get that final foot in the door to be able to push for that match point, push for that win, and put themselves in the home turf with a match in the pocket. But again, as we said before, we have Chalet next up as our venue to be able to see if F5 have what it takes to prove it in T4 and in Tier 2. We know the answer to one of those things. The question is, can they follow it up next by taking care of their T4 playoffs?
The bags of bones seem so unsafe.
Yeah, we went back to count for a second there. It's going to be hard. It's going to be definitely challenging, but they can definitely get it done. And with the first bans going underway, we saw an ace ban both times round out by both teams. We saw a Cade ban both times round out by both teams, and we're going to see completely different ones this time round out. The Monty going to be banned out, very strong on Chalet, just very easy to just take space so quickly. Same with his army, just allows you to just hold down that top flyaway position. And with the second two bans underway, we are going to be able to see Clash and Twitch. We saw F5 actually being the main team to use that clash. We saw them use it on the second quarter of their defenses. To puzzling effect, the Stealth didn't really have the best time on it, but they're not even going to give ZEN a chance to play it. And Twitch going to be the other ban out. I actually do see a lot of drone bans coming out. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what game it was, but it was either NA or SAL. I think it was SAL. It's actually this evening. I'm pretty sure it was Furia versus W7M. They banned Twitch, Brava, and I'm pretty sure Flora. So all drone bans, all intel bans. They just didn't want to get those drone work in. And I think it's just a very good ban for Chalet, where you have just so much util that can be shot out, that can be hacked.
Drone economy definitely plays a large majority of getting easy kills and catching roamers on their back heel. Now Mozzie being paired up with Mute definitely is going to be able to contribute towards that, but I also feel like F5's ability to conceal these drones and position them in good spots is also going to play a large factor. Now, speaking of Mozzie, he has barbed wire. I know that's usually some plays, I see that on Bandit a lot, but having barbed wire on an operator that usually is not in sight is a little bit of an interesting pick to me.
I think it just comes down to the fact that I was going to say they don't have a lot of stuff to give away the game, but they do have 4 Mels. They do have barbed wire on Mel as well. Interesting spring coming out from Ymir. Gives away his life early on and gives away the first pick to Z-Man. And then with Cheeg following up as well.
2 kills down, very easy. You've sacrificed one of your ACOGs as well. While that might not sound too essential to you, Chalet is just one of those maps. If you are taking a gunfight at that long range, it is going to be a very large problem. You're going to find yourself in that situation one way or another. Now Cheeg will take care of a body while Kiwi goes down and finished off by Z-Man. It's just DMRs galore here for F5 as Zen are looking down the barrel of a flawless round, which is delivered by the one and only Stealth. He's already broken the curse, and now it looks like F5 aren't coming to play anymore as they'll grab their first very easily.
I think Zane cranked a little bit too hard there, just giving away picks too early on, and as soon as they give away that first pick, they then just completely spiraled, trying to get the picks back, trying to swing for them back, and F5 just held strong, waited for Zen to swing into them, and then they were able to just win out the round for themselves. And now we're looking at F5 starting dominantly, starting strong, and now getting to move on to Zen playing a different bomb site. Zen were like, okay, that very much did not work out for them. It very much just completely fell flat on their faces. So, like, let's see, change of scenery. Kitchen dining, let's move over to that bomb site. Will this be the one that gives them effect? We'll have to wait and see. As right now, I do like the lineup they're coming out with, because I really like the 2-barrel, because we saw how strong F5 used it. Obviously, F5 then banned out, so Zen couldn't. But we will see it, obviously, to just make sure that F5 can't take the map quickly, can't take into office, and can't open this office bridge.
Sorry, was just seeing that the music actually stayed on during our game, so that would have been very interesting if it stayed on during the round. But interesting enough, F5 have claimed the Flawless as their first on the attacking side of Chalet. And from here, they look to continue and build off of it. The only team we've seen so far that will bring that Raora and look to bring value to trying to cut off the flank and be able to play very specific and bring in the operators that complement her. Now Stealth is on that spear entry, which might not be the best of ideas here, but he's proved himself once by delivering that final blow. The question is, can he continue to follow it up here? This is a site where verticality is essential. We're not seeing soft breachers to be able to start working it except for the pocket breaches with Ace, and he's already on site.
Yeah, he's being able to get quickly into this 45 position, but that won't really give them a lot of help, because I'm pretty sure as soon as he walks closer to that door, the Mel will go off, it'll give away the game. It does mean they can maybe move into 5-ways, get this breach open, but they're going to have to be careful of the vertical being established by Ymir on that 2-barrel, as they now realize they have to clear out the office position first if they even want to go for the side of that fireplace breach. And just not a lot is actually going down for them. Yes, they've been able to push up close. Yes, been able to get fireplace position. But with that, they haven't been able to really push the defenders out of these power positions, and still not being able to land many shots, not being able to push them away. Finally, Stealth gets that first pick, and finally that means they are going to be able to open up this office breach.
If I'm not mistaken, yes, he got it from below. Almost loses his life the same exact angle, but he kills Wimir and manages to take care of the Electric Claw as well, allowing that breach to be opened up. Domingo, in the meantime, though, will take care of Z-Man, while Thermite opens up both breaches now. Verticality, as you mentioned before, is the most essential part of this defense. The second that crumbles, these defenders are going to have to scramble to try to keep these attackers from building up that pressure, because once you lose that verticality aspect, they can just waltz on it and plant on that default. That is virtually or you cannot mistake it to fall. So, as of now, Stealth from going into the lurk position to trying to help his teammates upstairs on that direct lurk. And here, they'll just have half a minute left.
Yeah, but as soon as I'm pretty sure F5 go for this plant, push that thermite in, that is when these top floor players from F5 will slowly start conversion, because then the players top floor will have to either deal with the planter or deal with the people shooting them on that top floor. They can't
Or
deal
not.
with both, but instead it's just going to be the side player that kills the person
God.
inside, and now the bodies will start falling, and Penguin destroys them all with getting that final pick. Puzzling around, like F5 knew they were going for, like they knew they wanted to get that bomb down, but maybe just the timing was off and they just weren't able to ever really get it down. Another question mark, the Aurora just pushing up close to the piano door, giving away a free pick, holding the angle, it's swing or be swung, they got swung and died, and then because they were isolated, again, no refrags, and I think that's been F5's biggest question mark. The refrags just really haven't been going their way the entire game.
Penguin just whips out that revolver and treats it like a primary and just guns down whoever's challenging him from office. It's a beautiful shot, and it's a beautiful round from ZEN. And it looks like they're not going to take too easily that this is F5's map. It doesn't look like they care at all. They're going to keep their foot on the gas, getting it in response. Now, interesting enough, Milo, we're going to the basement. Usually on PC, we see the mid floors prioritized first, both bar and kitchen, and then upstairs, and then last of all, we see that basement site. It's one of the hardest to win once you lose either verticality or control of trench, because it's just so easy to be overhauled by the amount of attackers in opened up angles. But it looks like ZEN want to defy this, and they'll have verticality with Mira as well to try and push for this second round win.
Stephen, I would also say the top floor is very hard to just get a win over, just because the amount of times you can just be killed from a window. But to be fair, I feel like F5 should actually come away with a stronger advantage, because Chalet definitely in the current meta is definitely just attacker-sided. Vertsy being able to throw the impact, just delay the ram drone, delay the vertical that was being made, and now being able to just try and aggress up. That does mean that mirror window is going to be just slightly less stronger, and especially with the fact that there's an opening pick
What a shot
by Z-Man, and another by Z-Man through 2 floors. We're looking at a man advantage for F5.
That's a beautiful shot. And Z-Man with a one-tap from downtown all the way onto the stairs. 3 kills for F5, and all of them are due to this one man. He's coming around with Deimos. It looks like he's found his operator for the game. Currently 5-1, looking to claim his 6th. Needs to be able to either get aggressive on the connector or onto blue, but it looks like F5 are ready to be on go mode in trench as they open up the breaches. But the main idea here is that they don't overheat. We've seen it time and time again where they want to go for a specific execute and they do it too fast and pay the horrendous price. Now having trench, having verticality, and having 3 bodies in your favor surely has to be your win condition, right? Make it 4, because Fire will delete Vertsy, and it will be Z-Man to get his 4th of the round. Beautiful from one man, as that individual performance just takes care of basement and gives F5 that lead yet again.
Insane from Z-Man. I think that's really a lot of that round was just Z-Man hitting crazy shots. It's really hard to say this is where they lost the round. In the end of the day, this game is still an FPS game. You can put up the most perfect plan. You can execute it perfectly. Nothing can go wrong up until someone just swings you and kills you, because they just are better and just have the most insane FPS skills. And funny enough, actually, before Element calls even started, I was discussing with a former Element player, Eli, about doing a video on players who people should look at, who have never qualified for Element, people should look at, who are on the up and could qualify this stage. The 2 people I were heavily talking about were going to be Z-Man and Butcher. And Z-Man has proved why he has made Element and has made it, and showing why he is that nasty player on the side of F5. Every single time I see a screenshot of either a game day rep or a qualifier, it's always Z-Man who's put up those numbers, put up those stats, and put up the kills, and we've just seen it in that clip why he is so nasty. And again, they've been like, okay, you hit those shots on the Deimos, go again, just keep doing it, go back on it, and we're going to see him just maybe even crutch the Daemons for the rest of the game. To be fair, not a bad operator to crutch, and especially with the fact that after the first quarter wasn't banned out. We're going to see. I said the drone work is very easy to use on Chalet. It's very good, a very good operator to use. We're seeing Zen ban that second one out, and then Tubro are going to be banned out by the attackers.
I can't remember who it was that I saw. I think it was Checky, who used to play for F5. He was somebody that I said we should pay attention for, and then obviously the rebrand. But I feel like there's so many hidden gems in the Tier 4 and Tier 3 scene. But again, that is overshadowed by the fact that there's sometimes just too many teams to focus on, and sometimes a low quality level of play and morality that overshadows that hidden gem. That ability is now being displayed to us by both ZEN and F5. F5 have now become way more recognized because of their qualifying to Element. But ZEN, I wasn't too familiar with them. I was familiar with some individual players, but they've been showing us that they have what it takes to dismantle teams that have qualified for the Tier 2 level. Now, all they have to do is continue to stay with their head up, listen to their coach, and continue with that drawing plan board. But as of now, I feel like, Milo, we can just talk about how both teams are gifted in terms of hidden ability and absolute beautiful skill.
Definitely, I've got to agree with that. Finally, though, a round that's a little bit slower. Every single other round there's been a pick. I've nearly just cursed it. Every single other round there's been a pick very early on, basically in the first minute each time round out. But this time we're seeing these players just be a little bit less aggressive, a little bit just more compact. They've been able to get this stock pool open, just means there's so much pressure going to be established on these players inside a site. And also the go buttons for this plant will start soon, just because there's so much pressure being established inside the site and around it and around the positions where you'd be able to stop this plant going down. Surprisingly, the go buttons haven't happened yet. The diffuser isn't being planted yet. Z-Man is going to be the one holding it. So I feel like soon enough, they can definitely try and get this plant down.
Fire takes care of Ymir, and Domingo falls next to the hands of Stealth as he will establish control of all of Mez, and Fire takes care of Kiwi, but Stealth gets carried away and will fall to Vertzi. Now, it is going to be a 2v1 and both sides are on site. Now, Vertzi, rotating up blue, is now going to have to either utilize verticality or try to isolate the ones, but he can't even do that. Fire's going nuclear. Triple kill for him is going to continue to build on that lead by F5, but as we've learned before, Milo, it is never a good idea to dismiss ZEN early.
Definitely not. We saw last game F5 started out the game swinging. We saw them go up. I'm pretty sure it was 3-1 actually in that game as well. And now we're seeing them do the same. F5 again starting early. 3-1 up again, but we saw ZEN at least take a 4-2 half on the weaker side on Nighthaven. If they do it the same on Chalet, I think they could be in a harder time. Just because Chalet, I still think it's that decided, but I do think maybe in lower leagues it could come down closer to 50-50, and I think F5 could come away with very good defenses as well. And we may be seeing a third map if ZEN don't at least. I think they probably would like to have a 3-3 split at least from their defense. I don't think they would scoff at the 4-2.
Now finally, we see a mid-floor take, and I am excited to say, Milo, that they will pursue that mid-floor hold. Previously, we saw Penguin go absolutely nuclear upstairs. I don't know what took me more by surprise, the fact that he almost found a triple, or the fact of him just in broad daylight executing somebody standing up in the middle of offices with a revolver. But F5 have a chance to rewrite history, win it, and mess up ZEN's perfect defense so far on that site. And right now, ZEN just needs to be able to continue to close down that difference. Going down on Chalet defense is not a crazy thing, considering it is very attacker-sided at moments, and especially with the bans furthering that advantage, they're just going to have to try and be a resilient team that doesn't fall too behind in terms of rounds.
Yeah, Perseus though gets him below, gets the vertical established, so then the player that may be playing on solo stairs cannot be playing there, cannot rotate down, and now they're going to be also open to this castle barricade, but also nervous about C4, so that's why you see after each bunch moving away, moving down, so then he's not going to be that free pick, and now they're establishing this solo control. No one's actually going to be on those solo stairs, so right now it looks like it is going to be a safe place, but Fire technically gets an opening pick because of the Claymore. Penguin goes down. That was one of those star players when they did win that only defense round, And right now, F5 are looking like, yeah, we just got a free pick from basically doing nothing. And
Wow.
maybe, are they going to answer back? Yes, Ymir does at least answer back.
He runs out of that? Like, that's a very risky play. You hop in, you have that cross being held in from Trophy, and potentially somebody just lurking on West Main. There was about 30 ways that could have gone very south, but it seems like he'll live to tell the tale. Just under a minute and a half left on the clock, and it looks like F5 have kind of just reset here. They have that verticality aspect from below and now soon to be from above. But still, Milo, it's lacking in terms of the verticality operators. ZEN have not banned Ram, and for some reason, F5 refused to bring her. That verticality aspect almost played a direct aspect in that round lost previously, except for the fact that, you know, ZEN just kind of slaughtered them. There's still so many things that went wrong, and not having verticality was that main point. But as F5 establishes a very heavy clamp onto that bathroom solar side, they're going to continue and take care of the bodies. Perseus takes care of Ymir, and I'm not very sure how, as he might have delivered that final blow via... Oh, really? Hey, that's the first we've seen in this series. But again, it all just bursts into action on that uppermost floor, as Cheek finds Kiwi, and Cheek will fall next.
Yeah, a couple shots ranging out. Ella, the only person now trying to hold on to this top floor, trying to make sure they cannot push into sight. And Vert's actually playing smarter. He's not playing inside of sight. He's playing on this 45 door, but with his teammate going down, he has it now all to do. Stealth them out of the diffuser. Maybe just going to be walking down these solo stairs because they need to be careful on where this player is. And now they know in 45, but with the seconds ticking away, all that he has to really do is deny this plant as he gets one. Z-Man goes down. Percy is now the sole cover to stop this plant. Swinging wide, swinging for the fences, swinging for any player, and he gets none of them as Perseus takes him down from that kitchen door.
Thank God, I almost just had a heart attack. I mean, we've seen that twice so far. 3v1s being lost, and now with the roles being reversed and F5 being on the attacking, that meant it was temporarily a 2v1. That could have went very south for them, but they managed to deliver that final blow, get us to that 4-1 split. And I'm not going to get ahead of myself yet because we said this previously and we saw how that turned out. But F5 seeming to be learning from their mistakes. We haven't seen a round where they overheat too quickly. On the contrary, the only round we saw them lose was because they got a little too nervous, played too passive, and just got starved out one by one.
Still saying he played a quick FFA between the game. I wouldn't actually be surprised if he actually did do that, to be fair, because right now he's doing a lot better on Chalet than we saw he was doing on side of Nighthaven. 5-2 right now, second top frag tied with Fire, but Z-Man still head and shoulders with 6 kills. To be fair, he actually got 4 of them in 1 round, so only 2 kills outside of 1 round, but still playing an exceptional game. But I feel like F5 as a whole are just playing so much better than ZEN, able to just bleed out the bodies, able to just pick them off one by one. I think they've adapted well. They realized after the last match, ZEN like to play really aggressive. They like to get in the faces of F5, early doors, early and quickly. And now we're seeing F5 just play more of a Rockstar Siege, play more of that slow style, just waiting back, basically baiting ZEN into their cross angles, into their firing squad, and then getting those picks out. And now again, we see it again. They're looking to just slow down, take this map slowly, get the map under their control, and then get the picks.
Makes me wonder here what F5's plan is to be able to establish that 5-1 split, because I feel like that is the most important thing as of now. We saw everything go south and crumble once they established that lead and started to get carried away with their bodies, but it looks like they're looking to have a very, very similar round to their previous defense. Now Z-Man previously went absolutely nuclear, won't be able to get a very easy kill on that verticality as Kiwi is going to make his presence known, but after dropping off that hatch from Kitchen is going to take even more damage from that Vulcan that is in sight. Cheek, approaching that verticality aspect, has nobody to worry about until he gets to that bar area.
Yeah, but he probably won't be walking that far, especially with the track coming out. Actually, it was on the different player because it will be the Cade, but it's actually roaming around. Not often do you see a Cade roam, but not a bad one because obviously most of the time you're not seeing a Cade trick. You're mostly seeing him with that TCSG with such a strong gun, especially with one of the only guns left in the game that actually has an ACOG for the defenders. But with the drones coming out, they spot him out. They now know the game. They now know what he's trying to do. The question mark is, did the drone also see Vertzy? Because he is there to help his teammate, help the defenders, make sure they at least have that trade game established. Now a couple more shots going out to just break open those pipes to make sure we can't see a second pipe kill for this game, and also to slowly help them get this breaches open.
The clock running down ever so slightly. Z-Man, the only player on F5 to continuously take damage, and finally goes down. Given a second chance at life, and one of his teammates will exit out of trench to go save him and get him up to be able to join that fight yet again. A 10-man count below that 1 minute mark. I feel like that's the first time we've been able to say that in so long. Either side have full strength and are able to build up a play, but from there is a narrative to be set. Smoke says no, takes the head off of Fire. Luckily, he's not the one with the case, and Z-Man's brought back into the fight, meaning they're only down a body. And with this player camped out in the corner of blue, they might be able to find a refrag, but not in the time, as Verti takes care of Cheeg, and with Perseus flashing himself, he's gonna have to get his hands dirty because of this clock that continues to run out. And with multiple gas babes left in the pocket of Ymir, this is going to be a problem. Shot in the face by Z-Man, as now F5 have just said, screw it, we're going to put our foot on the gas and walk on in. They need to get the case down or go for their gunfights, and it looks like they'll be doing the latter as Perseus takes care of Domingo, but Verti onto stealth. The plant seems to be going down, but Z-Man is the one here to defend, but Kiwi gets the deny onto Perseus. And that's Zen to find the round in the very last second of it.
Just too many angles that Perseus has to, or not Perseus, but the Z-Man has to actually worry about to stop that plant, or stop the person from denying the plant. And in the end, ZEN Esports able to just rush through, get the pick, stop that plant from going down, and now we're looking at them at least get 2 rounds on their defenses. We saw the same split on Nighthaven, and in the end, it ended in ZEN taking it in overtime. Will we see a similar theme? Will we see ZEN start racking up the wins on their own attack? Will we see a comeback start from their side? The only thing is, the only positive as well for ZEN Esports is the fact timeout hasn't been used by them. They've realized that, hey, we're better in the latter half. We'll slowly rise up to the occasion. We'll slowly come back. So they haven't used it yet. They can use it now when it gets even rougher, or even say they do come back, say they are able to then get it into gear and slowly come back. F5 make their timeout, they can then have theirs in the back pocket and use it right afterwards, and then just make sure they're like, okay, so this is probably what was discussed in the timeout. Just counter timeout the other team. It could seem like a dumb idea just because you basically had a timeout yourselves, because obviously both teams get to speak during a timeout, but it could also just chalk the other team as well. But the first site's going to be the top floor. We didn't see this once from ZEN Esports, and it's going to be F5's primary site. We actually see this quite a lot inside of like lower leagues. I don't think it's seen often anymore inside of like the top divisions, say T1 to T2. But F5, even as a T2 team, they're going to be showing it out first. It's looking like right now a strong middle floor roam game, especially with the Orcs on board, obviously the fastest operator inside this game, and he's going to be the one person they're probably going to have to deal with first. And on ZEN Esports side, could be a quick play, just because we see the Ying, we see the Glaz, and we see a whole lot of cheese right now coming out from their side.
Can it finally happen? I've been waiting to see this go down. I need to see a rush today. I don't care in what form, I just want to see a rush. But not having a shield up, and the fact is it's not on that basement site, is going to lean a little bit more to the fact that they're just bringing these operators to play in the long run. But verticality is going to be established with Perseus, and he will be that wedge that denies anybody from walking up mezzanine easy, and anybody from approaching solar as well. And from here on out, F5 will be the ones to defend.
Angles trying to be established from here, trying to find anything going on, but again, a little bit of time, just taking a little bit of longer to even find a pick. Verti trying to take into library, using those smokes to just try and make sure his jump in is going to be safer. Cheek taking a bit of damage, but again, he's on the dock, he can just heal himself up. Ymir is also taking about the same damage as him, but unluckily for him, he can't heal himself up, and actually he's taking a little bit more damage, because Perseus, the man I was talking about, the man who's going to be on that road, is going to be the man to deal with. Stealth gets one, Perseus with another, and now in the 2v5 is going to be the 2 operators I said in the pregame.
Verti took a little bit more than a couple of bullets to get that job done, but all that matters is he did. He'll find a refrag, but I mean, after what? Half your team is dead, and you are down 2 bodies. Looks away at the wrong time. Siege timing is going to come back and bite him in the behind, as he will be dealt a headshot from Fire. So he'll grab 1 and 2, and that's F5 to show us why they're here to play, and they will continue to build on that lead.
Yeah, I thought maybe Zen would come with a little bit more fire inside of their attacks. Obviously, F5 or Chalet definitely favoring to that attacker sided, but they kind of just withered out. Zen did not expect that aggressive play coming out from F5. The run-outs, the jump-outs, just coming out, just giving it to Zen, controlling the tempo from the defending side, and now we're looking at them being able to just rotate to, in my opinion, a stronger site. They get to go to this kitchen dining bomb site, and they get to now work on the lead even further. But again, with ZEN come back from deficits before, can they do it again? It will be very hard. I'm surprised as well that the timer actually hasn't come at this point. Losing your first stack that dominantly as well and being in such a bad deficit now, being 5-2 down, having to win 3 in a row just to make sure you even up the scores is definitely just a rough spot to be in. But they can do it. We've seen it before. And can they now get this round out? What do you think? Can they now do it now?
I feel like a lot of factors are starting to come into account here. I mean, F5, they've defied the previous prophecy in the map by being able to grab a 5-2 lead, and by being able to find Kiwi as well early on to the round, are starting to show us that they're here to play and they want to go the full mile to send it to the third map. But I also feel like at any moment, ZEN has managed to do the impossible, and with the call of a timeout and with the call of a mental reset, anything is possible. But as of now, if I'm to be frank, this should be preparation for that third map, as it looks like F5 aren't planning on stopping anytime soon and want to go to Consulate.
Somehow, the site player goes down next. Domingo is actually just jumping right into Trophy, taking him down, but with the pings, they can't use the Maestro Canvas to zap, but they can still use them to just call out, give away the game. And it looks like they're just going to be going in, pushing inside, and just going for this quick play, this quick plant. And with the smokes on side, they definitely can just smoke it out and then go for this plant. But they do still have to be wary of this Vert.
Vertzi going down, but still, DBNO is given a second chance at life. Can't say the same for Wyamir as Perseus takes care of him. Cheeg onto Domingo, but Penguin onto Perseus. It's a refrag, but still a 3v1, as now F5 are heating up and they're unstoppable. It looks like 3v1s being lost. They're no longer in their vocabularies. They're swinging, they're getting aggressive, and they're winning those gunfights. Match point 6-2, and it looks like F5 really want to take home this series, as ZEN are starting to slow down and cannot find a response. And here comes that long-awaited timeout.
It just felt like ZEN tried to rush something that wasn't really available to them. They just tried to completely ignore the vertical play, and you can't really do that on kitchen dining. Even when you smoke it, there's so much other vertical. For example, the hatch they could just shoot you from. I'm pretty sure that's where mainly most of those kills actually came from, and that's why Z-Man is just up there 9-3 right now, because he was just able to get those free picks because they just ignored the vertical game. They tried to rush stuff and they tried to be lazy, and they didn't pay respects to the roam game that was being established from F5. And now we're seeing them just roll on with this game. We're seeing them keep the momentum. ZEN trying to now stop it, trying to desperately save something from this map by using the timeout. But like you said, I think it's way too late in this series to be calling the timeout when you're down 6-2. F5 could take it right now, and that timeout would have been pointless because they get to go to Bar Gaming. Again, another strong site. They basically said, let's play the weaker site probably first, the top floor bomb site, and then we get the 2 middle floor bomb sites, the 2 strong bomb sites on Chalet. And now we're seeing, can they get it done? Can they do it? 7-2, or can ZEN Esports put something in the way? Can they finally just stop the flow of momentum F5 started?
I feel like the main thing to be positive about here is Stealth is finally positive, eh? Hasn't died every round.
It was the FFK game. It was the FFA game he played.
Yeah, right in between. I mean, those 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. I think it was like 4.5. It really put things to work, and he's really trying, and it's showing. As the fact is that now he's caught up with his team, and it looks like the halftime or the intermission in between both games has really showed us that some teams just need a mental reset to be able to play better. Factoring in that this is their map as well, their foot's on the gas, and I don't think they're taking it off anytime soon, as they're approaching Consulate with a heavy round advantage in their hands.
Definitely. Now they're seeing the side of Zen looking like they're starting out on their solo side, so it's looking like it's going to be that overclear, trying to just get the control of that top floor by starting on that solo side, or maybe it looks like maybe they're rotating, trying to go maybe for that main direct or just like library side. The Maverick will be lurking in below, obviously not using one of those more loud, hard reach gadgets or like Ace, Thermite, means that you can just lurk him just a little bit easier. But look at this, Perseus looking for this more aggressive approach. Again, we're seeing F5 really lean into these aggressive plays. We saw on attack how fast they were going, and we saw on the first defense how aggressive they were being there with those runouts, with those jump outs, and Perseus still looking for it. But now these hack know he's down there. Now they know he has to be wary of it, and he doesn't know they're down there as Penguin gets a beautiful wallbang, taking down the first pick, and now they're looking like they can start maybe going on with a roll here.
Surprisingly enough, with this being a bar defensive, Mira is on the board and she's not brought, which again, a little concerning. But it looks like you guys are going to be paying the price for just getting a little too carried away and heating up a little too fast. Doesn't matter if there's a Mira or not, you guys have died to open play multiple times now as Penguin finds his next. Chig, you have to make the hard decision if you want to address either Fireplace or Outside Library first, but it seems like you don't have an option because the rest of your team has been slaughtered. And out of nowhere, Zen bring in that flawless round, as it looks like they're not fully out of this game yet, and they look to try to continue and close out that difference.
I think the timeout definitely is what helped them in that round. I think we saw from F5 when they were attacking, we saw them just wait for Zen to play aggressive into their hands. And we saw Zen kind of do a similar thing. I said that F5 were playing a little bit more aggressive on their defenses, just jumping out and just playing, just getting in the faces of Zen and playing the tempo. So Zen played a little bit more reserve, just waiting for them to just jump into their gunfire. And I think that's exactly what happened. F5 swung into them, gave away the picks, gave away the game. I'm not surprised on that glass ban. We don't see it often just because Glass isn't really the strongest operator in the game right now, but Zen have used it every single round. Every single attacking round, Glass has been on the board, and especially in that last round, 3k from Penguin on the Glass. That is respect right now. And I also don't mind the Maestro ban, but it is obviously banning it out is smart because obviously with the Bravo being banned out, it means Maestro is a lot stronger. Normally, the scare of bringing a Maestro is it's just going to be hacked by the Bravo cams. It's just easy to get rid of. But with the fact that the Bravo's already banned, the Maestro ban is actually very effective, especially with the scene F5, especially on that kitchen round, use it to great effect. But the top floor round, they didn't use Maestro. So this defense is not going to be affected. So Zen have to pull something up to the board to play a little bit better than they did in the opening round on top floor.
Now, oversight of the matchup completely, we're looking at an overtime win for Zen. F5 are now approaching a regulation win, which would mean that they will have the round advantage in their hands. Now, if we're speaking a little bit into the future, considering it looks like F5 are going to continue to spawn peek and get aggressive and try to end this game faster, if we're looking into the future, if we're looking onto Consulate, I think both teams are going to need to switch up their playstyle. This aggression doesn't work on Consulate. And Zen, the slow game, the taking it to the second half game doesn't work because once that half is built up, once that lead is built up, you won't get as lucky as the first because that is your practiced map. I feel like on an uncontested, undecided decider map such as Consulate, you need to be able to give us your best in the earlier stages of the map.
Definitely, and with the first pick going to F5, it's looking like it may be the beginning of the end, but we're seeing Zen be able to come back from man disadvantage. Not a lot on this map. I think we saw it once when they were defending, but we've at least seen it once. So it does mean it can happen, especially with Ymir answering back onto Z-Man. The Arudi goes down, and now they're slowly being able to get inside of Trophy, and with Penguin getting the next, it's looking like Zen are coming back from that man disadvantage.
Again, it's one of those teams where we can never count them out just yet. Having this Monty on the board, having that pressure being built up on certain windows, the ones that are open but not monitored, that phantom pressure will amount. So Penguin looking to continue to keep his team in this by finding 1, 2, and 3, while the refrags just cannot be amounted because it doesn't matter. Just having Penguin on your team is an instant addition in terms of frags and the ability to bring it back. Chig needs to be able to either go for Solar or the man that's wedging him in from that double. And it looks like he chose the ladder, took damage, and now has the stims available, but you're temporarily going to be deprived of a gun while that happens. A quad from Penguin is going to continue to approach that margin yet again, and can F5 fall behind twice to a comeback in one series, as now it's just ZEN trailing by 2.
Okay, so I've seen Zen's new strategy, and I've seen what they discussed in the timeout. So what they said is, Penguin, go to Google and download the DM. No, I'm joking. Generally, though, since that timeout, Penguin has been on fire. A 3K and then a 4K. He is cooking up right now. Their new strategy is Penguin, go, kill, and he's doing it for them. But again, they now have to be perfect for another 2. Either it's their team pulling up to the server, or it's Penguin again getting another 3-4 in each round. It can't be solely dependent on one player. They need to be able to back away from these hero plays and be playing more as a team. But again, still oppressive by ZEN Esports to still buckle down and get these rounds under their favor. For F5, I think it is down to, again, we're seeing a lot of kills just come out and being untraded. We saw Self at least get one back, but unlike F5, ZEN was able to instantly get that trade back. We're seeing this kitchen dining bomb site come out for a second time, but with 2 Brown not being banned out, it means they can hold on to offense just a little bit longer. Obviously, we didn't even see ZEN Esports go for the top floor push, so we're going to have to see if maybe they go for that rush again, or just ignore the vert again, go for that bot, just a site direct hit, or we will actually see them try to clear that top floor. With the 1-2 on board, I'm guessing they're going to go for a clear.
Currently, the biggest problem here for F5 is building on their spawn peak kills. We've seen the ability to get first blood, especially from Z-Man, and they have not been able to convert that into a round win in the last 2. Now, having the shield ops and having that pressure from ZEN is definitely going to topple over at some point, but the advantage is you guys are on match point. All you have to do is win 1 while they have to bring it back, but it is a team you can never dismiss because they'll find 2, and before he'll go down, he'll take out 2 with him, but Vertzy goes down to a frost trap. It will be immobilized until there's 1 minute left on the clock. But still, beautiful opener here for ZEN. And if they can find another kill by this point, 3 bodies down is perfect for the attackers to begin to mount that pressure both vertically and directly onto that site. And it happens.
Checks note again. Who got the opening 2? Oh, yeah, it was Penguin. Again, it's the same person. Getting into that round, getting in quickly, and then with Ymir finishing off that player with the Twitch drone. Either it was BM or just had to do it because obviously he's far away. But now with the only 2 players remaining going to be those top 4 players, and now with the Claymore refrag as well, Z-Man has to do it all. He has been the F5 star player, and now he's going to have to just clutch it out. He's at least got a C4 in pocket, and he's still got all of this vert game, but as soon as he has to focus on the partner, he then also has to try and make sure no one's pushing him from above, and especially with the breach opening right in his face, this is going to be very hard for the 2 Brown.
Now, so many different things that you're going to have to watch out for. Oh, there's 3 obstacles. You just can't get past the first. The patience executed from outside K9 gives ZEN the second opportunity at a crazy comeback. Previously, from, if I'm not mistaken, it was 4-1 at one point, and now 5-1, and F5 cannot find substance in their defenses to save themselves. This is a constant issue, and this is definitely going to have to be ironed out before Element, because these issues cannot be made in a Tier 4 league. You need to be able to call the timeout, address what's wrong, and from there, act on it, finish it, and be a resilient team, which is just not present for F5 right now. They were showing promise, but it looks like the caster's curse hit stealth because we haven't seen much of him. And the rest of F5, I mean, we're seeing the frags, but we're not seeing any conversions. And when one F5 player falls, another drops right after that. That is an issue, and it's yet to be addressed.
I think the Monty has been a very good adaptation coming out from ZEN Esports. I think bringing it along is really just being able to help them either take the map control quickly or just being able to frag off it. But I'd also say they need to make sure they don't have to still rely, because again, the person who really opened up that round, really opened up the map and really got them an advantage in it was again Penguin. If he goes down early, I think it could be F5's round there. But to be fair, it's working for ZEN, so I can't really fault them for doing it. right now we're seeing them again go for mainly this solo side take. We saw them really go for this in the last time they attacked again. And this could also be another thing that could go wrong for them if they just keep going for the same. I mean, it worked on Nighthaven. They did the same take 4 times in a row on top floor and they won every single time. Now they're trying to isolate the player that's going to be on these stairs, either throwing nades in or just making sure he has to back away. He already has done. I think he's guessed that this is probably what's going to happen. He's probably just going to try and make sure he can't be isolated anymore, which is good coming out from F5 there.
The uppermost site has been one of the most problematic so far in terms of that body economy. We've been seeing so many deaths so fast in this game, and it's all about who gets first blood. I mean, for Penguin, he either finds 4 and then wins the round, or he'll find 2 and go down and help his team win it. But this is the most important round for ZEN because it differentiates if we're going to overtime or map 3. But dealing with verticality seems to be their first issue on that checklist. With that man parked out in 45 and that verticality established, just holding the crosses should be enough to establish an easy round, because Z-Man and Percy is taking care of solar pressure alongside with that support from that bathroom area is starting to contribute. The pressure is starting to amount as you've lost your Deimos, your Ace, and now your Sens. A 5v2, and it looks like F5 have finally woken up here because they are isolating each and every player. Vertzy takes care of Perseus, but Stealth finds that refrag, and Domingo gets taken care of by a Frost Mat, and we're going to map 3.
And again, I said they can't keep relying on hero plays. Penguin goes down, and there is no frags to be seen. The one round he can't put together multiple kills, and they just couldn't get it done. They were relying on a single player throughout that comeback. It was working for a while, but as soon as you can't rely on someone, as soon as he loses out on the first pick, it then just comes crumbling for ZEN, and F5, despite maybe looking like we're going to see something similar to Nighthaven, they eventually get it done in regulation. We got to see all 12 rounds, but we're not seeing OT this time. We will be seeing map 3, we will be seeing Consulate.
Both maps were decently fair in size, but now Consulate is just one of those that challenges you in all aspects. You're going to have to be aware of the drones that lurk on you, the verticality that could be established, or that vigil that you didn't check in the corner. But yet, those are all boxes to be ticked off by that third map, which will be coming after a short break. back, the final venue of the night. Consulate, that map that you need to be able to have your foot on the gas right from the get-go all the way until the very end is going to be the venue of the day. Now, as it stands, both teams have a lot to prove, but the first and foremost is who will win that first round. ZEN, being able to defend the first, are going to be gifted a little bit of a silver lining, but F5, coming off a victory, have the possession of a win in their hands.
Definitely, Zen have such a great start here. Being on the defense, it's the first time Zen have really been on the side that you would consider the better side to start on. The defense on Consulate, it is so defender-sided. Some of the times you actually see a 5-1 split, even sometimes a 6-0 split. I'd say 5-1 is actually probably the most common split I'd see in lower levels. So that isn't the crazy thing. And it wouldn't even be crazy if F5 came back from a 5-1 down deficit. But looking at the first bans, Ward and Ying completely contradict each other because you normally ban the Warden, so you can bring the cheese, you bring the smokes, you bring the Ying, you bring the flashes, and then you can just go on for a rush, even the blitz as well. Just go for all that cheese plays as soon as that Warden is banned. But then without the Ying, it's a lot harder to do those cheese plays. The next two bans, Mute is a really good ban. It means you can crush that Deimos, the insane probably. I saw Deimos on the board, I'm pretty sure, yeah, as Z-Man was going to say. And then the Grim ban, obviously, it just makes sure you can play in those power positions without being pinged out. And those power positions probably going to be around that vending hall position. You're going to probably have a shield there. No shields are actually going to be on side. So probably just the Azami going to be playing there with their Kiba barricades. So then you can stop that admin side over. Looking at F5's lineup, that's most likely what they're going to be going for. You don't see the Amara, you don't see you don't see a Thatcher, you don't see a Buck. So that most likely rules out that quick rush style Amaru through the window and just going for that direct plant. It's definitely going to be that admin side over, which then have the operators who have the positionings to deal with.
Absolutely hilarious. I find the fact that the only thing that hasn't changed between all three maps is the banter that's been going on in the all chat, and I live for it, man. Whether it's pro, tier 2, 3, 4, friggin' console, I always love to see the banter in the chats. As of now, though, more important things to come. Cheek takes a couple ticks of damage very early on, almost getting spawn peaked, but living to see the day. Now, as it stands, it doesn't look like F5 are going to be approaching admin whatsoever and go for a more traditional A chassis push and then rotate onto the B chassis. A little bit of this and that, but they will be bringing on that ram with no likes of operators that will assist with a rush. So question marks being thrown out here as we see their attack develop. Now, verticality is established. That's exactly how Ymir is going to find first blood, but gets instantly reflagged by Z-Man right from below. The man and Deimos are inseparable. They're the same person. And that is a beautiful kill to be able to force off anybody that cramps out in that corner in the B area. Just cramping behind that desk. Your presence won't even be known until you deliver that final blow. But Penguin is going to make his presence known by delivering a beautiful headshot onto the man who was repelled outside. Fire Perseus, meet their maker, and now it'll be F5 to be down a body with plenty of time left on the clock.
I think the ram drone was actually probably just thrown in to just create diversion or even just to use it as noise, but the defenders didn't fall for it. They were able to shoot the guy coming in through the window, and now we're looking at Penguin maybe going for a flank or maybe even just trying to get back up into sight from the basement. There you go, he'll just get back into sight. Smarter play. If he goes for that flank, they could have drones on it, they could have bodies on it, so instead just goes right back into sight and is able to play with his teammates, use those keybers that he's got left in his pocket, 3 of them actually ready to be thrown out, and as well as those 3 smoke babes as well, just to use up the time, the very little time that F5 actually have left. And it's looking like Zen can just slowly just keep this round into their favor.
Half a minute left on the clock here, still down that body in the case carrier, still outside, having to worry about the man who's camped out still behind that desk. Z-Man doesn't seem to be aware as he continues to try to establish verticality without a direct comm on exactly where this man is. Now Wamai getting pinged out by that's the wrong person, Z-Man. No intel, hasn't shown that man who sits out in that corner, but Stealth just running right through the fire, looks to either address the man that sits prone on the floor but will be shot out by that long desk Vertzi. And now Sheeg is in the midst of the fire and trying to get his hands dirty. Takes care of Penguin. Pre-fire connects with Vertzi, but Domingo ends it out. Almost a beautiful legacy round here from the Gridlock, but still Zen are too powerful in numbers and will grab that first round for themselves.
Chiefs was giving me flashbacks of Nello on Coastline, but just not fully able to get it done. Just too many bodies left on the board and too little time to really clutch out anyway. And Zen, they get the first round, despite it being a long one, despite it being even a close one for Consulate standards, they still get it done in the end. And now we're probably going to see, yep, the cafeteria garage, the basement bomb site coming out. And again, looking at their lineup, there's definitely going to be some sort of a roam game. You don't bring Oryx if you're not planning to roam. And I also do like the Cade coming line. I'm surprised it hasn't been paired up with the Tubarão, as it just means it just would make it a lot harder to open those breaches. But the layered defense will actually be the mirror instead. Obviously, you'd have to either bring the Ash, the Kali even, or just bring a Twitch drone to just make sure you can't have that mirror up for too long. But also the vertical works as well. You get the vertical opened above it, and then they can't even play on the mirror, or you can just open up anyway. But with the roam game established, it will take a little bit longer for them to have that vert established, especially with where the orders are going to start. I'm guessing he's probably going to start around that admin side. But Penguin, he's actually probably going to be going for this early on K trick. As soon as he hears either players around it or anyone put it down, throws the K down, and then is able to just completely trick it off and just waste, again, a lot more of that time. And that's been a lot of a question mark on F5, especially in that first round. Just the time was never in their favor. First step, taking this top floor control, taking it away from first the mirror, and then maybe the Oryx if they're with them.
Hopefully they're able to continue and build off of the lead, and that's exactly what they're going to do by finding first blood through that window that looks onto the scaffolding. That's a beautiful first kill, especially on this site. The more bodies, the merrier, especially because these attackers are going to have to distribute so many resources to be able to find the players who roam, and they're just going to continue to fall. We're only nearly a minute into the round, and they've lost two key players, one with can openers and the other that establishes that verticality. There is no contingency plan. There is no other soft breacher. Now 3 operators are going to have to try to approach this site while no denial, no utility has been shot for the defenders.
If I had a nickel for every single time Ymir on Bandit faced Sheeg on a Ram, upside down rappel from a floor down, I'd have 3 of them. How has this gunfight happened 3 times across 2 maps? Well, 2 maps technically, because because it only happened on Night Haven as well, but 3 maps in total. Still crazy that somehow that gunfight's happened 3 times, but 5v2 now. ZEN Esports, again, it's not crazy to see. They're dominating on these consular defenses, but F5 really having nothing left. Hatch isn't even open. They are able to open it because Perseus still has both of his ex-thermos, but the main issue was just losing that Ram. They were not able to open up any vert, like you said, and then they were not able to just slowly whittle down the players. But great early aggression from Zen, great roam game being established from both the Mirror and the Oryx, and then with the Thermite also going down, not even bothering to open that hatch. Z-Man was a star player on Chalet, but this is a tall task even for him.
Even stars perish at times. The Flawless is established. It opens up with Domingo and ends with him. He's been crucial across all 3 maps. When losing, when winning, the silver lining in it all is you have Domingo on your team. He has contributed to a 1v3 win by taking care of 2 before he's fallen himself. And then he clutched a 1v3 himself on Night Haven. Chalet didn't find a great amount of luck, but still had a presence. He wasn't insanely negative and has shown us that he's here to play. So, Zen have a gem on their team. He's always here. He's always ready to contest. And the rest of Zen complement that ability. They play around him, they play with him, and they play as a cohesive unit to be able to expand on leads. For F5, that specific tendency has been on and off, and that is the reason that we're looking down the barrel of a 2-0 right now.
Definitely, and a lot of people in chat have actually said, you said it when before the game even started about how Poncho said that Zen were great on concert and F5 had no chance, and Dean as well have now come in this chat saying that F5 stand no chance on this map as well. So just a lot of people are really backing Zen on how good their consular is. So it's curious to see how the map VO allowed us to even get into Zen's hands if they're just notoriously known for being such a good consulate team. But third sight, third chance for F5 to at least get one of these attacks on the board, and it will be that piano bomb site. Vertical going to be established. They're going to have to be able to take rid of these top 4 players, and their idea is going to be cheese. Obviously, with the Warner being banned out, the Glaz is going to be extra strong with those smokes, with those utility, and obviously also bringing the Blackbeard as well. 4 sets of smokes actually on the board for F5. There's going to be 2 on the Glaz and 2 on the Bravo, so it's going to be a lot of play probably around that Glaz on how he's going to play out and how he's going to enter throughout. But the Bravo already established and good hacks, double cameras actually being established, 1 being a bulletproof, 1 just being a default, and now maybe even a third with Spiral going to be under the control of the attackers. Really good drone work early on.
Z-Man trying to get himself that opening pick, trying to hit those toes. Cannot find success, so he'll get his hands dirty, toss in that smoke, and then hop in through in the scaffolding and try to isolate his ones. Now the defenders know better than just to stick their face out into the man who has a thermal DMR. And Wamir will find first pick by taking care of fire. And I will say, Milo, we've been seeing a crazy amount of C4 picks for both sides across all 3 maps.
I think it comes down to the maps they're playing. Chalet, a lot of that just you need to have established, and the same with Consulate, same with Nighthaven. I think they're just very vert-heavy maps, so it just means that you will see more often these C4 picks. It is impressive just how they are able to be easily just picked off. Maybe it's just the really good comms we're seeing, and especially the fact that Bandit also still has C4, so we can even see another one coming out from him. Right now, we're just seeing a lot of it. Instead, it was Domingo. Yeah, it was Bandit. Got the next C4. So there you go. A really wonderful play. And now he gets the shots out, but has no idea where these players are. And at least F5 get 1 back. But hatch is open, so they can fall back. And it looks like that is going to be the plan for the defenders.
I do believe they didn't know that he was camped out in catering. He might have had a triple kill on his hands here to end out the round, but luckily it worked out in their favor, and they got that refrag onto Domingo. That'll be his first death across 3 rounds. And the rest, or the remainder, may I say, of F5 have to try to scrap together a cohesive-looking or somewhat cohesive-looking attack. The case is loose, yet to be picked up by Z-Man, as he'll do that. But still, with 20 seconds left, you have to be able to just go. You need to be able to swing. You don't have intel, you don't have bodies in your favor, and that is the negative aspect of it all. Kiwi will find 2. Z-Man sees his feet through the floor, but doesn't confirm that ability to see that, and the drone doesn't help as well, as Z-Man will take care of Kiwi, will take care of Penguin, but that's a triple with, again, no substance. All empty frags, because you found them in the last 2 seconds of the round, man. ZEN Esports, they're kind of scaring me. We're seeing in the chat, we were talking about it in the pregame, lots of people are believing that F5 stands absolutely no chance against ZEN, but when you're of tier 2 caliber and you have a coach, I feel like anything is possible, but the timeouts are not there, so Flan's advice is completely excused from this area. And now they're struggling in the terms of just playing as a unit as they lose first blood almost every single time.
Definitely, I think that's definitely going to be an issue for them. But the mere band out is actually a good ban. Obviously, not only does it remove a C4, but remove something that just means that it's been very strong for them. But also, it's an issue because I feel like Mirror was used on 2 bomb sites, and the first one's going to be the top floor bomb site, where I don't think the Mirror actually paid a lot of help on the basement bomb site either, just because they mainly lost to it because of the roam. I feel like the Mirror actually hasn't been as big as a threat as other operators they could have banned out, maybe even seeing, say, the mute, because it could have. I know who them banned out. Oh my god, Smoke is what I meant to say. Smoke has been very strong for them, just being able to just use up that time, using those smoke bays on the late round, but also maybe just the operates have been an issue because I do feel like F5 again, an issue that I've talked about a lot throughout the game. Either the timing issue has been a problem. I feel like they're just letting the clock go down themselves, and also just the refrags. A lot of picks have gone untraded, and then the entry pick as well. You said it yourself. They need to get at least one of them on the board to allow themselves to have a good start in this game.
Shout out to our observer. Just brought up something to my attention that Zen is currently sitting at a 12 and 6 KD as a team collectively, but now it's going to be 12 and 7. But focusing on terms of leaderboards, look at F5. That is a lot of donuts, and they're going to continue to be donuts as Wymir yet again finds a kill for his team and will get a refrag very fast. Ace for Ozami, 2 critical operators for the integrity of both sides here, but Fire follows that up by taking care of him and say goodbye to your bandit. Now, it's not a horrible start here for Zen. It's manageable, but F5 still have that Blackbeard paired up with that Capitao on the board. Pair that up with the Sens, you have so many different things that you can do, endless possibilities on how you want to string together an attack. Possibly they don't throw away their bodies, right? I say that with question marks thrown around because we've seen them overheat before. But as the facts stand, they have plenty of time, plenty of bodies, and plenty of health to be able to make magic happen.
Yeah, I do like this wrap position though coming from Domingo. If the Blackbeard just runs through that without checking, without giving it the respect, he could lose his life. But I think he's actually moved away from it. Yeah, I think because of the what's it called? Goyo canister popping. I'm very tired. It is nearly 3 AM of my little defense. But because of the Goyo popping, he had to move away. But the next step will be clearing out this person from this vending hall position. It's such a super strong position, especially if they don't even know he's there. But it does look like they do. It looks like they are paying him at least somewhat of respect. Maybe not, actually. There doesn't look like there's actually any eyes on him, especially with the Blackbeard not even maybe pushing him out or not even throwing a nade at him. I don't think they do. No, they do. No, they don't. No, it's free pick, and then the Blackbeard also goes down. Somehow, they may have just thrown this round away. Poor drone work, poor intel work, and they've just given up pick after pick. And then Domingo with another. You said how vital he has been for this Zen team, and he may have been massively vital there too.
Call me a Domingo fan as of now, but still this round has been like nails to a chalkboard. So many things wrong with what we've just witnessed. It's Siege 101 to drone out the common corners, and somebody sitting behind that vending machine is 9 times out of 10 to happen on a Consulate game. F5 pair the dear price, sacrificing 2 bodies and a refrag. Oh god, Stealth left in the midst of the offices all by himself, looking to find 1 kill. Will confirm, takes care of Domingo, but Vertzi is a long ways away. Has the intel and the red pings of him trying to stick down that plant. The Toxic Babe is going to be dealing the damage, but that plant is already going to be go down, but he set him up perfectly to swing into his sights on that double door. Vertzi, SMG-11 to the head, and that is the 4-0 for Zen.
Good attempt from Stealth. He tried his best after his team just made a lot of mistakes. It looked like for a second they did know he was there, but then I realized they just weren't throwing any util at him. They have to be throwing the util to know he's there, and then full spit, and somehow he kills the first after whiffing a little bit, but then the bigger question mark is he downs the Blackbeard. Either it was him downing it or it was another player, but either way the Blackbeard goes down in that situation. They get the man advantage as well with another by Domingo, and then in that 2v1 Stealth just has too many places to look. He's able to get the first and then get the bomb down, but the smoke babe was placed perfectly to push him into his angle and then push him into a pick for the side of Zen. And now we're seeing a round that F5 should have won lose. That does not help the mentals, but a team like F5, I don't know if they'll get choked. It's definitely possible, but I doubt it will happen. But the basic bombs that we'll see again, F5's main problem was Zen's Vert, or not the Vert game, but the Roam game. They played so perfectly, either just using somehow another pick from Bandit from down below, or just the Goyo running around, causing a nuisance, getting those picks, and the Mirror as well. but we're seeing if similar things can happen. Can Zen again be the pain in the side of F5 by just using their own game, or can F5 just get better at dealing with it? They're going to try with the Dokbe going to be on the board, just allow them to find where these players are hiding, where they're lurking.
Stealth looking to get aggressive. It looks like he's tired of just waiting to be picked off here. But yet again, what's new, Scooby-Doo? Look at who gets first blood, in what way. It's always the C4 kill with the same person. This time, thank God, it's just not on Bend. Otherwise, that prophecy would have been hilarious. But that's still, yet again, first blood. F5 now need to find a response, and it looks like having to deal with stealth is going to be Zen's biggest problem. What looked like an easy kill onto the shield operator turns into a refrag, but another C4 takes care of the main verticality operators. Now, the one-man count is in the favor of Zen.
Yeah, definitely. Question marking on how the Bucks were able to get that kill, but again, the C4 kills, like you said it a couple rounds ago, their C4 kills have been so deadly, and again, they've been so precise. I don't know how they're always able to just know exactly what these players are, but the C4 kills have always come out, and that is going to be their only C4s of the game, of the round at least. So they don't have to worry about that anymore, F5. They don't have to worry about being blown up anymore, but with your shield low, with only having a Dokbe and a Thermite left alive, it's going to be hard to get the hatches if they're electrified, if they're going to get the wall if it's electrified. So they're just going to have to play gun up, just going to have to get these picks. And with someone still moving around on that top floor, they also have to worry about the flank at all times.
Now, wow, lots to dissect. I'm still processing what happened on Spiral with that shield operating. Kiwi with that bearing 9 to the head of stealth, yes. As we see Perseus approach yellow, and Z-Man have to deal with the flank and the pressure from server direct. Now, lots of problems here for F5, but that 7-0 might actually become a realistic possibility here, as a 4v1 from Deep Yellow is almost a death sentence at this range, as Perseus is just being dealt damage by each and every defender wanting to get their piece of the pie. And he still sits at 0 kills, meaning he's gonna just have to bait out for one, you know, just break the deadlock of that donut on your screen. But still, Milo, I feel like the prophecy might be fulfilled. It is a very one-sided affair.
Definitely, but still, if F5 just win the next round, it wouldn't be crazy to see a similar comeback or similar run back on their own defense side. But Vertice takes down Perseus from behind. Perseus at least cracks the donut. He at least gets one before falling, but it won't give them a round. An impactless frag in the end of the day, but they get a second crack at that tertiary bomb. So the exposition and piano room is going to be where their last stand, or at least getting around. Curious to see there's been no timeout called. Is it due to the fact that F5, either they're not seeing the massive game, or they're already calling it out what their issues are, there maybe isn't even any comms errors, or maybe it's just the fact that they're believing that they can win at least this round and then run it back on their defenses, do what Zen are doing and just be like, okay, let's just wait until our defenses, let's play the long game, let's play until either even overtime or at least get that 7-5 and win out the game, just make that comeback a reality. But being 6-0 down, having to do a perfect comeback 6-0, or you lose the game, lose the map, it's a lot harder. I think it's a lot easier to do a perfect half when it's 0-0, because when it's 0-6, it's always daunting because of the fact that nerves will always come over yourself.
I'm disappointed. Now, I have been focusing on the chat. I've also been focusing on the endless possibilities of what allows F5 to play like this on their decider map. Now, is it because they don't care? Very possible. It's a very, very possible thing. But I feel like just losing in general isn't great for team morale, especially with Element coming up. You need to be able to get your reps in on maps you're not comfortable on. And Consulate being down 5-0 is just not the way to go about that. Finding deaths to a C4 almost every single round without excuse is almost insane to me. But finally, F5 is going to break that by Cheek finding 2 on Blackbeard, completely breaking that vertical grip these defenders have on the site, but still 2 more remain upstairs. But Fire takes care of Penguin, and now it might be F5 galore, as it looks like aggression is their best friend, as Perseus finds Wymira, and now we find ourselves with the flawless narrowly avoided by Vertzi, but still the plant goes down. 3 players shield that, and F5 get themselves on the board.
They get the 1. I said they at least need 1. They cannot go 6-0, and they do it. The Blackbeard entry was perfect. Able to get the first and then flick up, instantly kill the next. Nasty stuff coming out from him, and now we're looking at them at least be able to get 1, and maybe they can do a 6-0 half of their own, but time will tell. The first half is done, and now we're seeing the second half's bans underway. Ying again banned out. We're not going to see Ying this entire Consulate game, and then Cade the next ban for the defense, or the first ban for the defense. Second ban going to be the Clash. We saw F5 play a little bit of Clash on the latter quarter of Nighthaven, but then the Grim also not going to be seen on Consulate. The same 2 attacking bans actually for both teams at the start.
This is the round that makes or breaks F5. 6-1. Meh, it's a little difficult to come back from. But 2-5, yes, not easy, but still somewhat realistic. Now, both teams have yet to utilize their timeouts, and I feel like they are going to continue to keep it this way. This map seems too far in progress for ZEN, and too far gone for F5 for either side to use it. But looking at this defensive roster, we might have an F5 comeback on our hands, because it looks like they want to lock this site down.
Definitely, and Perseus back on that pulse shotgun, seeing if he can at least replicate some of the C4 kills we've been seeing out of ZEN Esports. But he's all the way inside the basement, so curious to see where he's actually going to be able to find those C4 picks. It does look like it's going to be, again, an admin side over. Haven't seen a single rush in this game. You've been itching for one, but they're not giving it to you. They're really not wanting to give you that rush. But we're seeing if maybe they can make less mistakes on this admin overclear. We saw the biggest mistake from F5 was being not clearing out players in those power positions. The first one's going to be that Warden. They know he's close, but somehow, even with the yellow ping, Z-Man is just too nasty for Vertzi.
Finally, first pick in the favor of F5, 2 rounds in a row. I mean, it's a beautiful start for them, and they will take care of that Capitao. Man, that Capitao has been a horrible operator in terms of operator life. First picked on Nighthaven, I think 3 times if I recall correctly, twice on Chalet, and now will be followed up on Consulate more than once. I know that for a fact. So many more things to do here, and they are not able to capitalize without their Capitao, but they're just going to have to make do. First priority should be to clear this pulse, because that's exactly what he's going to do. I mean, he said he took the words right out of my mouth, as that'll be Perseus to take care of Penguin. 5v3 in the favor of F5.
Yeah, the great play from the pulse. He made up for the C4 picks that were coming out from ZEN to get one by himself. And with Penguin, the raid boss of ZEN in the last map going down, hasn't really been cooking on this map, but his team has been cooking around him, so he hasn't really been needing to put up those massive numbers. And now with F5 having such a good advantage, having such a good position as well, it's going to be next to impossible for them to win out this round. But with Kiwi getting 1 and Z-Man going low, it's actually looking like maybe this could become a reality. The next option is going to be clearing Perseus. He takes a little bit of damage and is able to walk up the stairs, still has that shotgun in hand, and has someone coming up around his back. But he runs away completely, probably going to be either rotating up Spiral or that yellow side. And Z-Man is still able to be holding this position. And with the fire coming out to help him, it means he can hold it even longer.
Z-Man at 1 HP. That pulse shotgun starting to be used as he will light up the floor and deals some damage to Domingo. And now all of the Zen players have lost their fair share of damage, and somehow Z-Man is still the lowest and still managing to stay alive. Now Perseus takes care of Wamir and will get his next kill. Kiwi just running through the site with 4 seconds left on the clock. Destroyed by that LMG, and Sheik finds a kill of his own. And that's at 5 seconds as they now are starting to find their rhythm. And they're finally finding rounds and putting them on the board. But still, the fact stands, Zen is still 1 round away from approaching that match point.
I mean, the main issue throughout that round has to be the fact that they just never were able to clear Perseus. Last time I saw him on that pole shotgun, he did cook up, and he's done it again, but they just never sent someone below. They never were able to drain him out. I don't think they even knew the pulse was even on the board, because they never seemed they were like worried about him. So they were ready. They weren't ready for it. They were to get a pick and then go back as well to get the shotgun pick. And then as well, they were never able to clear Z-Man out from that vending position. So he just always made sure they had to either rush in. And then with the timer being low, the Tachanka fires were just so strong in the end. And now it's just unfortunate for them because they've lost the first round, but they can definitely still win it out. But F5 have really just taken the momentum. 2 rounds in a row, they can now use the momentum to start their own comeback.
Now, basement with Mira, Valk seems to be a defender's paradise. Just look at this roster. No Castle. I mean, Castle is one of those operators where if you do bring him, you know how to utilize him correctly. You're going to try to lock off that server area. But as of now, they are bringing every operator needed. You have the Bandit that's complemented by the Tabaro to deny. You have the Valkyrie and the Pulse for intel. You have 5 C4s, and you have the Mirror for that one-way black mirror. This might be one of the most stacked defender rosters we've seen so far in this series. But the question is, what are they going to do with it? They've been struggling to find rounds in and out of this series, and sometimes they overheat. But so far on their defensive, we've only seen them once, but they take their time. They use the C4 first and the guns second, which is something they've needed to do for 2 maps now.
Yeah, definitely. But Pulse being targeted, they know who's going to be a danger man, but the thing is, he's underneath the half wall. He's being smart. He can give away the location, at least still, because obviously that cardiac sensor has a little bit of range on it. And now as well, the IQ is also on the board. So if he pulls it out when he's actually below soft floor, they can also just shoot him out. But there you go. He knows exactly where the player is. He can call it out and be like, okay, this is when you blow up the C4, this is when you throw it, and this is where they are. So again, he can still at least give away the game without actually having to really give away his life. And the breach has finally been opened up by the Thermite, so it's been good aside from that. I think F5's main issue on the basement was not opening up those breaches, so Zen is not falling into those problems, able to take the map quickly and then also open up breaches, open up the hatches as well, and then also get rid of these mirror windows.
First blood yet to be determined, yet thank God as we approach the below the 1 minute mark. And I love 10-man, oh god damn it. I'm gonna say I love 10-man counts because it starts to stress out either side. Somebody's gonna have to get aggressive and then it'll all just blow up. But Penguin will be the first to fall, and we find ourselves with the man advantage swaying in the favor of F5 temporarily. And I say that because of the amount of pressure starting to build up from that lounge side. If Verticality takes care of this black mirror, which it just did, now it's leveled. Zen just need to deliver 1 headshot or 1 refrag of a kill, and now it's all leveled out here. And with the key parts of utility, they have access and angles into sight, which could help them. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? No, I'm done. He just fragged his own teammate. Domingo builds off of that by refragging him and taking care of fire. Hey, buddy, the pose and problem is still there. Pillar is yet to be cleared. Stealth and Sheik take care of yellow control, and the man who just tried to drop the hatch, and Domingo is going to be the one who tries to bait out for a kill here. I'm done.
I feel like it needed the player to push him out so then he could be swung by the player bottom yellow, but the comms maybe just didn't really come out in the way, and instead, he actually had a good luck. He ran in to kill the Valk, and it would have worked out if they didn't come out, so very unfortunate for Zen, just a little bit of a mistiming issue. But in the end, F5, they get the second defense round they needed, and now they go to touch bomb site. This is the bomb site you're looking at being like, okay, Zen, this is where you show that you can win a round, you can win an attack. We saw F5 at least do it once on this tertiary site. If Zen do one better and win it twice, they then win out the game. We don't need to see overtime. We don't need to see any more rounds. So Zen, I would say this is a must-win round if they don't want to see overtime, just because Zen F5 don't get to be... They will then be sitting nervous on their prime bomb sites. Also, again, still surprised there's been no timeouts from either teams. I guess F5, again, they now have the momentum, they're coming back. But I feel like Zen, if they lose this round, they definitely should take that timeout, reset the mentals, and then be like, okay, so this is what's going on in our attacks, and this is how we can win it out and win out this game. Because they cannot let this game slip. They've had the game slip into their favor, but they can't, for the first time, let it slip away into F5's favor.
God, after watching that round, I remember I got an email yesterday from Indeed.com to apply to a second job. I am now considering applying to a second job after just seeing that, because wow, fragging yourself.
Why are we slurring on broadcast?
Why are we slurring? Hey man, after that round, I can say whatever the hell I want. I'm pretty sure I swore, which, big no-no, but it's my stream, who cares? Vertzi takes care of Perseus, but thank God he didn't TK his way to get there. And finally, we see Pulse fall, and the team have their priorities straight when it comes to taking care of the operators, who definitely contribute to the vertical aspect of denial.
Yeah, they've at least gotten this admin control quickly as well. I do like that they've seen how strong the Pulse was in that first round, and then instantly they've been hard picking the IQ, hard looking for the Pulse as well, and then finally it pays off. He was probably holding his scanner, and that's probably why you saw it being the pistol kill. But a C4 pick again. How many C4s has that been in this map alone? The Carlsberg also going down. F5 at least answer it back, get the man count even. Not the biggest operator that Zen will be sad to lose, but it is sad for them that they have lost that man advantage. They now cannot rely on playing those 2v1 trades against the other team, because that would probably end in that F5 win.
F5 double down on that lead by taking care of Vertzi, two essential operators for this stage of the round, as they now look to continue to build off of that. The C4s, finally, we're not seeing them in abundance, but yet they have a crazy grasp on this uppermost floor, because that Black Mirror is still intact. There are 3 bodies, one to watch that long desk area, the other to support these head holes, and the other one is just there to be the emotional support. There's so many things that could go wrong here for Zen, but all F5 have to worry about is not overheating here, holding their angles, and this is a very easy round to win. Call it and bring this deficit down to just 1. But as Domingo will be the first to fall, Stealth confirms by taking care of Wymir, and now it is a 1v3 as Penguin is stuck in an impossible spot. Has to choose between looking at the door or taking care of the man who looks to swing him next. Will down the Azami, but cannot finish her as she is restricted behind a reinforced wall. Still, Crosses being held down by that castle, verticality established by fire, and now Zen, you gotta call that timeout. That's exactly what will be done, as F5 have now closed out that deficit, completely thrown that prophecy out the window, and 7-0, 7-1 is no longer something that is realistic.
Definitely. F5 can easily make this comeback now, because their defense has just looked so strong. I was looking at Zen's and they were looking definitely as strong, but I feel like F5, they've just got that little bit more something in them right now, because Zen they haven't really even gotten a foothold in any of these attacks. But could this timeout help them, just like we saw in Nighthaven? We saw them take the timeout there after some poor attacks, and now we're seeing them do it again. Can they now realize what is going wrong in the rounds? Can they now close out at least one of these rounds, confirm at least overtime, or even do one better and get 2 of the rounds in this final quarter? But this could be the final 3 rounds. We could see another 7-5 for F5 if they are able to make this massive 5-1 comeback. But Only time will tell. The final 2 bans of this best of 3 will be IQ and Valkyrie. I love the IQ ban because of the fact that they've been crutching it to clear Perseus. He has been using that pulse shotgun every single round, and their counter to it was that IQ. And without that counter, they now need to find the new counter. Will it be the Deimos? Will it be just scanning him and just droning him out more intensively? But the thing is, they've now brought a second operator that would have been countered by IQ, and that being the Solus. So they're doubling down on these intel operators because they know that there's nothing to really massively counter them. But question marks are going to be the site. We're not seeing their primary bomb site. We're not seeing that top floor bomb site. We're seeing the split bomb site. This game, we've seen a lot of them, but the game of this bomb site is those C4s. We see 3 of them. Perseus is going to be the main man to really call them out. Z-Man as well. Obviously, when the plants go down, he can call out as well. But the first step for Zen will be either going for a bottom-down clear, just trying to mainly work on going for that bottom site, or doing this top-down clear, because you need admin control if you want to be going for the top side bomb site of this split bomb site.
Sorry, just looking at this application. It says I need to have references upon request. Hey, you want to be my reference, Milo?
Sure.
Yeah, it's better than watching this. Actually, I retract that statement, because what I thought was going to be a very one-sided affair has actually turned for the better. 1 round away from that deadlock, and it looks like F5 are really wanting to bring this back. Now, that timeout, yes, helps you reconnect with your coach, talk about what's going on, but it also allows F5 to do the same exact thing. As Perseus locates Wymir through the floor, he has that phone call that is going to give away his location, but Perseus now only finds that as he is being tracked by the phone call audio by Wymir through the ground. But who knows the better? He's going to continue to take his time. He has that shotgun to light up the floor, but gives away his position using that shotgun. And now Wymir knows to be careful.
Definitely, but nearly walks under more vert established by the Solus. Versi takes a little bit of damage as well onto the Monty. Don't know what he's doing, but nearly is able to take out the player making vote on him is Ymir. But a lot of ground established on this basement's side, so they're able to just slowly whittle down the defense and maybe just push them and contract them into this bomb site. Fire playing in a very good position that they either need to clear it with a nade or just try to just swing him together, because that shotgun, especially with a map like Consulate, will ring out on these close quarters.
Wymir really is lurking around this yellow to piano area, really taking it carefully, because if he loses first blood, it's a big problem. But that problem will be solved for him, as Kiwi is the first one to take care of Z-Man. But Perseus right back onto Kiwi, and that'll be Hard Breacher for Solus. An essential operator, but a beautiful shot from Fire to take care of Domingo. An instant refrag, as that's 2 for 2 for either side to find those refrags. And we find ourselves at an even man count, but that's broken by Perseus as he'll take care of Wymir. And now we find ourselves with F5 having the lead. One of those players is going to be putting down that case, meaning we'll be temporarily in a 1v3, while Penguin's going to have to fend off 3 of these circling defenders, 2 of which have C4s. The first one lands on the front doorstep of Vertzi, denying that plant successfully, leaving Penguin just by his lonesome in the site, meaning F5 have actually managed to do it if they can run this clock out, which means they've brought the comeback, forced the deadlock, and that means whoever wins this round, regardless of which team, will take us to the match point.
Yeah, they've done it. They've been able to win 4 rounds in a row, and no matter what, someone goes to map point here. And not only that, F5 just won every single bomb site to make this comeback, which you don't often see in a game. But we now get to see them go back to their primary bomb site, which will be that top floor bomb site. It's going to be hard for ZEN Esports, especially with how poor they really were on attacking this. But to be fair, that also came down to Z-Man hitting some crazy shots in the start of that round, especially with the fact that he had a drone on him as well, somehow still hitting those crazy shots. Last round, honestly, I feel like it just came down to just loss of gunfights. I feel like their idea was solid. I feel like ZEN Esports able to just realize, okay, they're focusing a lot on the main top floor. They're focusing a lot on the admin side. Let's just go for this direct site take, this basement horizontal take, and that's exactly what they did. They went for it, but C4 galore in this entire game, just able to stop the plant going down and make sure they whittled the bodies down of ZEN. But now we're looking at the operator lineup. It's looking like ZEN Esports again going for this admin style take. Maybe not actually, a lot of them are spawned on this side, so it could be a yellow side take with the blitz dropping down yellow and maybe just going for a fast take onto the side. The blitz causes havoc and then they just go instantly for that window plant. But with Stealth getting the opening pick onto the Deimos, that will definitely not be helping.
Penguin falling first 3-10 on Deimos. It's just not a great scoreline, especially on that last map. This is where you prove yourself. You don't start off the race strong and then just suffer in the later stages of it. You pace yourself so you can participate in all stages at your best. Penguin missed that memo and now is starting to pay the price. Not fortunate for him, but F5 managing to find first blood with this roster. They're able to sit back, relax, take their sweet old time, and build up the pressure onto these attackers to force them to make the mistakes into their utility and then eventually into their weapons and crosshairs.
Definitely. They're trying to get in the drones out, figuring out where these players play, and they do see that no one is actually close to the window. They could definitely rappel in, but their main issue then will be the chunk of fires, will be the C4s, so that will be kind of hard to deal with if they do, and especially with Perseus rushing in close. He thought maybe that someone had already repelled in. Actually, I don't know what he's looking for. Is he just? I think he's just making vertical. Ymir gets the answer back though. The blitz running up spiral stairs, taking that position, but Stealth instantly with that refrag. F5 have very much just gotten a lot better at getting these refrags. As again, somehow Stealth is cooking right now.
Oh my god!
I don't even know what's happening. I can't even gasp over this. As Domingo gets one, Domingo gets two, and now we're looking at a Cheek 1v2.
It's just Domingo. Who else? Because he fights his way through sight, finds the kills, and is so humble enough to just put that case down. The frag almost blows up his teammate, and that wouldn't have been too pretty, but just a two-way cross being held. And now Cheek is going to have to do something legendary to be able to put his team on match point. You've already come this full mile. Why not fight your way to get to that match point? But with this cross being held, your best bet is 1 in 100. As this clock continues to count out, you need to be able to account for the fact of that counter defuse time of 7 seconds here. As Cheek continues to take his time, he'll find the first, turning his attention onto the offices temporarily, disabling this gunfight as he's sent back by that air jab. And Cheek has won it for his team for that time, and now we find ourselves going to match point in the favor of ZEN.
The air jabs actually winning it for ZEN Esports in the end, just able to get it done. That's what really whittled away the time in the end. And also, I've got to say, maybe Cheek just a little bit too hesitant to swing. He knows where one player is. He knows exactly where he planted. Just always just go for that swing, go for that pick, and then you have more time to finish off that final player. But in the end, ZEN Esports, they get it done. They get that map point. The question is, they haven't been able to. No team has been able to win more than one attack in this game so far. ZEN have to do the impossible and win back-to-back rounds. It's going to be hard, but it's not impossible, especially with how good that final attack was. But I gotta say, it came down to another hero play. It's been a while since we've seen ZEN actually win an attack that hasn't come down to a hero play. It was Domingo this time, and Penguin was the man on Chalet, but he has not really been up to the races this game.
This is where they get to prove it, though. This is the round that stands in between us going to overtime or ending it out right here in regulation. And what I will say is we've seen games that we think are always going to go in one way. It started off on Nighthaven where we saw that 4-2 split and we thought that F5 had everything in the bag all solidified because they were forcing ZEN's hand. Now, on the second, Chalet, F5 continued to build up a crazy margin and almost threw it out the window before managing to slightly close it out on that last round of regulation. Now we see a similar situation for ZEN, so if the pattern continues to persist, it should be ZEN's game. But we're not dismissing anybody because having that consulate defense in this roster contributes to the overall integrity of your rounds and can potentially send us to that overtime.
Definitely. I do like the Maverick on board, just means they can get at least some lines in the breach. And also the Blitz as well. It's been very good for them on this board. We saw in the last one the Blitz was able to make that impact, make that entry, make the space, which actually allowed and helped Domingo get those picks as well. They're looking to be more of a split take here. We saw part of that main breach being open, mainly just for eyes of sight. And then we also saw, or at least looking at them, trying to make their way inside of this backside breach. Do they know actually how close that was to a guy on that window? It doesn't look like they did, but now the Maverick is going to be opening it up, or even just opening a lineup to try and either shoot the Cade, or actually it isn't it. It's going to be a Bandit, or just shoot out. There you go. They can get the Bandit off the board now. They can then open it up. Or not, they still cannot see it. But Fire actually kills the Blitz. I don't know how he's dying to that. I don't know how he's on his lonesome. I don't know how he's on his own. I don't know how Bandit's getting it done, especially with every other player trying to open up this breach.
Wow, this is a disaster class so far for ZEN. If this was a team trying to end it off in regulation, it sure as hell has not started off that way. This basement site needs so many operators, especially somebody like a Blitz, to help you break between that initial barrier of defenders. But as of now, that's just not going to happen. Verticality looking to be established here by that Glaz, but he has to be mindful that he has a DMR and a C4 on his toes. For the 30th time this game, we see a C4 kill, but this time it's not as a refrag. It's seen to continue and further the lead of F5 as they look to continue and keep their foot on the gas. They've made this comeback. They've come this far just to fall in regulation? I don't think so. They're going to go the full mile here. Pulse giving his siege timing away, but luckily for Vertzy, he has turned his attention at the wrong time. Pulse seeks refuge in that hallway, and Mira is unaware that she's leaning the wrong way and her whole body is visible behind the coffee machine, allowing ZEN to close out that difference to just one body. They have to just lock in, take care of that one body that continues to jiggle peek, but Z-Man will do and deal enough damage to kill Vertzy, and then Cheek onto Kiwi, but Domingo finds Z-Man as that refrag, but Fire onto Domingo means Milo, for the second time today, we're going to overtime.
Crazy. We've had an 8-6, a 7-5, and now overtime on the horizon. We're going all the way, Sino, and we're looking at F5 having the advantage, having defense, and having an opportunity to maybe close this out. Surprisingly, again, though, I questioned their pick of site when they went to overtime on Night Haven, because they went to the top floor, the only bomb site they lost on Night Haven. And they're doing it again on Consulate. They're going to the top floor, the only bomb site they lost on Consulate. If ZEN win this round, it's definitely down to just F5 throwing away what they could have had, because both times when they've gone to overtime, they have picked the wrong bomb site, at least in my opinion, at this current moment in time. Maybe they know why they lost it, maybe they know what went wrong, and maybe they're going to fix it. Another thing is as well, even if F5 say lose this round or even go 7-7, F5 have a timeout still. ZEN used theirs when obviously F5 was making that amazing comeback from 5-1 down, but F5 never used theirs. They still have it in their pocket and still have it available to use at any time now.
Milo, can you do me a favor? Tell me what the score would be if ZEN were to take this round?
7-6 to ZEN.
No, that's just not how it's said. Can you say it in the order from left to right, please?
7-6 to ZEN. They'd be serving. So I'm saying them first.
6-7 would be the scoreline if ZEN were to win it here. I'm sorry, I have to sneak them in somewhere. But Milo, after, if my math is correct, I think it's 38 or 39 rounds of play so far in this series. All of those moments on the first and second map, all of those heroic plays boil down to these potential 3 rounds. The final stretch is to that 15th round, but that is if they need it. Somebody can end this out 8-7 or 8-6, but all they have to do is show us that they're here now and they're ready for that occasion. You mentioned before, F5 still has that timeout, and the question is, when will they utilize it? Personally, I don't think they need it. They've put their foot on the gas, they've learned how to play, they forced ZEN's hand with that timeout, meaning they could have used it for themselves. I don't think they need it, and they look so solid, especially on the defensive, allowing them to build off of that.
They don't need it, but you've got it. So if you're 7-6 up, you could also just use it to be like, okay, this is how we attack the next round. But you're right, it's not a massive thing they need to do or need to throw out. As right now, ZEN, though, have been able to take this admin side pretty quickly. Questioning to why they're going on this admin side, because the last time they actually won this bomb set, it was with that yellow style quick shield push with that blitz. So instead, we're going to see the Blackbeard take it across, and this time, he nades the vending machine shield. He is ready for, oh, to be fair, that was F5 actually that missed up and didn't nade the vending machine shield, but he learns from their errors, nades it out, and Vertice also firing it out, but there actually is no one behind it. So a little bit of wasted util, but better safe than sorry. And a couple of shots raining out from Perseus to figure out where these players are. Luckily for them, they've now heard that gun. They know that Perseus is on the top floor. They don't have to be worried about a C4 coming up from below, and now they're being able. But instead, they have to worry about a C4 being thrown at their face from the long desk position, and then a couple more picks, and this round's over.
4-1 C4 to open up the kills and a C4 to close it out. It's F5 from downtown. I don't know if that's F5 or the prime Chicago Bulls, as they're the ones to finally claim that lead, send us to that match point, and they have the ability all in their hands to send ZEN home right here and advance on to the semis.
Definitely. No, it's 7-6. We're seeing, though, that F5 will now have to attack. They've only won one attack. Same with ZEN has only won one attack. So it would be crazy to see it end here. So it's very, very likely we do go to 7-7 max overtime. And with ZEN going to the basement bomb side, I think this has been a strong bomb side for them. I think they were strong on both the top floor and the basement. I think obviously their weakest was that middle floor. But the question mark is, how are F5 planning to attack this round? We're seeing the shield also come out from them. We saw ZEN use it, we saw ZEN use it in the last round. Didn't really work out for them. Can F5 use it better in their favor? The question mark is going to be the lack of hard breach. They're switching over to the blitz instead of the Blackbeard, but we're going to see the lack of hard breach. Normally you see a thermite, that means you can have both the hatch and the breach open, but with the ace only, you cannot do that. Maybe they picked their main operator lineup based on top floor, but they've changed basically the entire lineup now, but still sticking with the one hard breach. So it means either they don't get a big breach open, or they just don't even go for that main side. It looks like they're just going to be going for a quick push into this lobby side with the blitz.
Cheek, the spearhead of the attack so far, not mindful of the man that was sitting in that server's corner, but Tabaro was actually giving up his position, but still there's a man parked out behind you, Perseus. Look to your left, please! You'll pay the price too late as Perseus gets refragged out. Say goodbye to the hard breacher, as now that man that is definitely doomed is still going to be a thorn in the side of this F5 attack, because first, he's draining out the time. Second, he can continue to deal this damage, but still being pinched out here, he's gonna take another body down with him before he falls! Penguin, you may be 5-13, but you might have single-handedly decided how F5 attacks for the rest of this round, because they have 2 minutes left and they've lost their ace and their Dokkaebi, and you've allowed it to be a leveled up man count, laying down the grave work for Domingo to take the lead by taking care of fire, and now you've just left Z-Man and Cheeg, but that's a kill for Kiwi as he will fall, and it's a 2-on-2.
Maybe a little bit of overswinging coming out from Kiwi there, but luckily for them, the raid boss Domingo still alive. The double T5 duo keeping up, but Z-Man with another, the star player for F5, keep it done. Now up against a blitz, but Domingo gets one. Can he get another? The two star players from the side of each team, 1v1ing to either lose the game or win the game. It couldn't have gone either way.
F5, this is where it all comes together, your comeback. It all led up to this moment. The case is left loose in the middle of that hallway. You both have a realistic amount of HP, but Domingo doesn't have the upper hand. Actually, here he doesn't have that magnifying scope, but the time is in his favor, but the frag takes him out!
No,
the game's over! From overtime, comeback, it is your victors, F5, the one and only to take it home here. Domingo just can't shut it out, and F5 are the ones to deliver that final blow to become judge, jury, and executioner.
I'm gonna be honest, like, I have no horse in this race, but that bullshit. That nade should never kill. It's on the other side of a metal wall. There is no indicator. No, Demigo's been absolutely bullshit. I'm gonna be honest.
Absolute cinema.
It was. I'll give it up. There you go. It was cinema. It was a great game. It came down to 8-6 on the first and third map, 7-5 on the second. But coming down to a 1v1 between the two players that impressed between this entire BO3, between Z-Man, between Domingo. What a game. What a comeback from F5. And they get it done 2-1 in the end.
It all came down to a frag on the second last overtime round of the third map. F5 very, very reluctantly close it out here. But wow, ladies and gentlemen, as much as it pains me to say, I don't know what part I'm grabbing, but it's going to be the end of the night as F5 are your clear victors of the night. On the desk has been myself as a producer and a caster, alongside with my main man. Is it this way or this way? This way, Milo. On the observing side, I'm not alone. We have Lucy, the absolute GOAT. Please drop a W for Lucy down below. Drop a follow, a sub if you're naughty. If you did enjoy this stream and the broadcast, we love bringing it to you guys. I hope you guys have a great day, especially after seeing that frag grenade. Enjoy the rest of the night. For those of you who are Canadian, happy Thanksgiving. For those of you who are American, have a great day in college, university, or high school tomorrow, and we will see you guys in the next one.